Today, you will learn to automate your marketing reports on Google Looker Studio, and I will make a bold promise. You are going to become an expert on Google Looker Studio. You will see that in a matter of hours, you will learn a new skill that will work forever for your career, that will increase your revenue, that will increase your company's revenue, that will give you a new way of thinking of marketing through data, and that will save you a lot of time. What makes this course special is that you won't only learn Google Looker Studio, you will learn to win with your marketing data. I am Juan, founder of Potter, and I happen to be a marketer who also loves this stuff about data and automation. And I will tell you some of the benefits of data reporting. First, the one that you already know, which is making data-driven decisions. You already know this. We can go beyond this. You will learn to tell stories with your data because remember, your presentations, your reports, your dashboards are a mean to persuade and influence your clients if you're an agency or your team if you are a company. You will enable a culture of transparency because everyone will know what is actually happening in the company because they have the metrics available. Accountability, because you can assign specific metrics and KPIs and OKRs to specific individuals or teams. And experimentation, because let's face it, marketing is hard. Marketing is mostly smiling while you don't know what you are doing, but at least you try. But at least you can validate and test because you have your metrics available. Also, the most time-consuming task for marketers is copying and pasting data in Google Sheets so they can analyze it, and you will automate this task to save time every week. Also, you will learn to play differently because let's face it, most marketers won't learn this. They will say, this is boring, this is hard, this is for analysts, this is for engineers, I am a social media guy and I don't need to, whatever. Every marketer should learn data analysis and reporting in general. And you will gain a new competitive advantage if I ask you what makes you special against large competitors. There is only one answer. They have the money, they have the talent, they have the resources. But you can move faster, and you can move faster because you have the data to make these decisions. Also, you are more likely to reach your goals if you are constantly tracking them on a dashboard. And finally, you will learn this because this is super simple to learn. As I told you, today you will learn to automate your marketing reports on Google Looker Studio. I will see you in the next classes. This is how you will learn Google Looker Studio. First, I will show you some use cases and examples of marketing reports that are built on this tool. Then I will show you how to connect your data from Facebook, Shopify, Google Analytics, or whatever on Looker Studio. Then I will show you how to ask the correct questions with metrics and dimensions. And with this, now you can create your first charts. If you can create your first charts, know what metrics to choose, and how to connect your data, now you can create your first basic marketing reports. But if you want to go beyond basic, you want to make your reports interactive, for instance, adding buttons, filters, parameters, date ranges, and more. Then I will show you how to calculate your own metrics like conversion rates, engagement rates, cost per acquisition, and more. And then I will show you how to combine your data sources. For instance, you want to know what is your total ad spend from Google Ads, Facebook Ads, and Bing Ads. If anyone uses Bing nowadays, okay, with ChatGPT, they do. Anyways, if you want to combine your data or blend your data from multiple data sources, you can do it on Looker Studio. Then I will show you other types of charts like bar charts, pivot tables, community visualizations, and way more. And I will show you how to design and customize your report so they look white labeled, so you can add your logo, your colors, and so on. Finally, I will show you how to share your reports with your clients or team through links, embedding your reports on your website, PDF, email, and so on. And finally, I will tell a little bit more about Metrics, the startup that lets you connect your data to Google Looker Studio. We are the fastest way to get your marketing reports, and we help you with personalized free customer support. And we have the most complete report templates gallery and tutorials on the internet about Google Looker Studio. So with this, you will learn Google Looker Studio. Welcome again. We will start with one of the most important components of Google Looker Studio, which is connecting your marketing data on your reports. And I will show you not only how to connect your data, but how to bring multiple data sources in a single view so you can actually centralize all your marketing data in one place. First, you want to meet Google Looker Studio connectors. A connector is the app that brings the data from a source like Google Analytics and pulls this data on Google Looker Studio. Google has its own connectors that are free for Google Analytics, for Google Search Console, for SEO, YouTube, Google Ads, and more. You want to know that the free Google Analytics for connection has some limitations, and that's why users tend to use third-party apps like Porter so their reports don't break and they work faster. Now, there are other third-party connectors. We are not the only ones, but for this tutorial, I will only mention my company. Sorry, that's it, but you can browse other competitors as well. But anyways, you can use also third-party connectors to bring third-party data from other apps that are not Google related. For instance, if you want to pull your data from Facebook pages, Facebook ads, Instagram, Shopify, MailChimp, your CRM, e-commerce, whatever, that's why Porter Metrics exists. We connect your data to Google Looker Studio, Google Sheets, and we are exploring other destinations. And if you don't have a connector available, if for instance you want to connect your own custom CRM or whatever, you can still connect any data by bringing your data on a Google Sheet and then connecting this Google Sheet on Looker Studio. This way you can connect anything. Or if you are a developer, you can use Google BigQuery. You can bring and centralize your data in Google BigQuery, and then you can easily visualize it all on Looker Studio. So this is another approach. If you are a developer, Google BigQuery is super fast, super reliable. And if you are not a developer, with Porter Metrics, you get kind of the same results of speed, accuracy, stability, and so on, but with no code. Now, I will show you and we will get started. So you will go to Google and you will type Google Looker Studio and you will go to the first organic result. You won't click those ads. Go to Google Looker Studio right away. Then you will create your account. I had created my account in advance, so I can see this right away. But if you are new, Google will ask you to see where you come from, and etc. Once you end your sign up process, then you will see this view. Then I will create a new report by clicking on blank report. And the first thing to create my report is to connect a data source. And I will start with the default for every marketer, which is Google Analytics, the free connector by Google. So you will click on Google Analytics, you will log in, you will authorize the connection, and you will choose your first Google Analytics account. So I will pick the demo account of Google. Actually, you can Google how to get access to the demo account, or if you have your own Google Analytics account, I recommend it to you. I will pick this account, then I will click on Add, I will choose the property and connect. Now, I have pulled my first data and my first chart on Google Looker Studio. We are almost done. You have done the most complicated thing of Google Looker Studio. That's it. So this chart was created automatically and it is pulling data from the Google Analytics for data source. What I will do is that I will remove it and I will go to Insert. On Insert, you will see all the options of charts that you have available on Google Looker Studio, and they are not all. Here, you will choose one of the visualizations and we will pull scorecards, which are the most common visualizations, and I will pull it right here. So here I have a visualization and the metric by default was views, but I will change that metric. So I will go to metric in the right side and I will type a different metric. Let's type, for instance, users, and I can pick the metric that says total users. And here you have. We have created our first scorecard showing the total users of my website. Now, I will copy and paste that chart instead of creating one from scratch, and I will put it in the right side. Here on the right side, I will do a change. Instead of total users, I will pull revenue, and I am pulling revenue, and I will do it a third time. I will create another chart, another scorecard just by copy and pasting, and I will change the metric to event counts so I can know the total conversions or events that I am logging on Google Looker Studio. We're almost done. As you can see, this is super simple. It is just copy and pasting. I will again copy and paste and I will show you something else. I will make this chart a little bit bigger. So instead of a scorecard, I can go to the top right corner and I can choose the visualization type. And in this visualization type, instead of a scorecard, I will choose a time series, and you have it there. We have created a time series, but it is very small. So I will make it a little bit longer, a little bit bigger. And now we have a time series showing over time the number of events that we are logging on our website. Now, I will go to add a chart. This is another way to do it. And I will pick one of the tables, whatever of this work. So I will display it here. I have the table right down there. And I have it automatically. And now I can change this table. I want to visualize, here I am visualizing events by date, but I want to do something. I want to visualize, instead of events, I want to visualize the event name. So I am visualizing how many events are happening by event type. As you can see, the most common event on my website is page views, then clicks, and so on. So as you can see, I changed the table with the dimension and metrics I wanted, but maybe you don't know what a dimension and metric is. You don't understand this. No worries, because we will see it in the next class. And I will copy and paste the same table, but this time I will change the data. I want to visualize the source, the acquisition source of my traffic, and I can see what are the most common, or where people are coming from. I see that most people come from direct, which is nothing. Many people come from Google Organic, other people come from a specific UTM parameter. And as you can see, we have created our first marketing report. Congratulations, all with Google Analytics data. But I told you that you could connect other data sources in the same chart. So I will make this report a little bit smaller and I will centralize it. So I choose all the visualization, I'll select them, and I can make them small, all of them all at once. Now I have centralized my data, I have my report, it looks good. Okay, it looks good. Then I will go to resource, and this is super common. Most of the times you will do this. You will go to resource and you will click on manage added data sources. Here is where you will see all the data sources that you have connected to your report. As you can see, I am connecting Google Analytics 4 here. Now I will connect Facebook ads. But for instance, if you tell me, hey Juan, I want to have different websites connected from Google Analytics, you can do the same process. You can connect as many data sources as you want on Google Looker Studio. I will add a new data source, and you will go to the search bar and you will type Porter Metrics, because this is the company, but you can type anything, but you will do it with Porter, right? Because now we like each other. Now, you will type Porter and you will see all our connectors available. And in this case, I will pick Facebook ads, but you can pick anything. If you don't have Facebook, no worries. You can pick any data source and simply connect it. I will pick Facebook ads. I will log into my Facebook profile, to my personal account, and this will pull all the Facebook ad accounts available to me, but I need to set some parameters to bring this data on Looker Studio. First, I will choose the Facebook ad account, and I will choose Porter. I will choose that checkbox. I will show you why next. Then I will choose a conversion window. If you're not familiar with conversion windows, no worries. Just choose the default option. This is for Facebook advertisers. And finally, I will choose the conversion date, also choose the recommended one if you're not familiar with what, and this data will match with your ads manager. And finally, you will use the checkboxes. You will activate them, all of them, because eventually, if you want to get assistance from Porter or from someone else, these people can change these parameters without accessing the connection. What do I mean? I connected my personal Facebook profile. If someone wants to change this, they cannot, because this connection is mine. If you allow these checkboxes in the report, any user now can change the Facebook account, even though it is mine. So it is very good for support or for letting other people edit your reports. Now, this will say, hey, you allow parameter sharing, which means, hey, you will allow that other people will change these parameters in the report. I will say allow, and we are done. We have connected the data, but I don't see any difference. I don't see any Facebook report here. What I need to do is I will select these three scorecards that have Google Analytics 4. As you can see, the three have Google Analytics, and I will create a copy and paste it. And all of them, all at once, I can change the data source to Facebook ads. As you can see, I clicked on data source, and now I can change it from Google Analytics to Facebook ads. These are the two data sources listed that I have connected to my report. And once I do it, I have connected Facebook ads to these charts. And as you can see, I am displaying data, but this data is not relevant to me. It says 1 and nothing and so on. I need to change the metrics. So I will go to the first metric, and instead of account users, I will choose amount spent to know my total ad spent. In the second one, I will choose another one, let's say leads, and I have no lead for this account. So I will choose clicks, and then I will choose a different chart here. So I will make it a little bit smaller, where I have Google Analytics for data. I will create a copy, and now I will change it for Facebook ads. So in Facebook ads, I will use amount spent. And as you can see, we have a marketing report with multiple data sources here, but I will repeat the exercise so you can see that it is super simple and it works the same way. I will go to resource, I will go to manage other data sources, search, Power Metrics. Now I will choose Instagram pages. And on Instagram, I will connect my Facebook profile. This will bring my Instagram accounts. I will pick this one from my friend. I will allow the parameters and I will add. But what will happen? I see nothing. This didn't show up the Instagram account. What I will do? Refresh Google Looker Studio. This is a good practice. You should know that Google Looker Studio is free, so it has some glitches. It doesn't show. So you will refresh Google Looker Studio, and now you will be able to change the data source, and now you will be displaying Instagram organic Instagram insights. Now I will do the same exercise. Instead of this amount spent, I want to visualize my profile impressions from Instagram by date. And here we have created a report. And finally, for this chart, I will use the total reach, for instance, or total followers. Here I choose the total followers for that visualization. To recap, in this report, we have Google Analytics data, Facebook Ads data, and Instagram data in the same view. If you have done this, you have created your first multi-channel marketing report on Google Looker Studio. Let's see how to connect your Google Sheets data on Google Looker Studio. And first, I suggest you to download our template, the CRM template. You can only simply access to the link that I will provide you on the description below. And once you have this template, you can simply go to File, and on File, make a copy. And on Make a Copy, you can create a copy of this document. Now you can interact with this document. Once you have made a copy of this document, it is time to create our Google Looker Studio report. And the step is simple. You will go to Google Looker Studio and you will create a new Google Looker Studio report. Here, you will connect Google Sheets. And on Google Sheets, you can find all the documents that are associated to your Gmail account. In this case, I can see the CRM template there, so you can easily find it. Here, I can see the shared documents with me, so you can see the ones that you own and the ones that are shared with you. Okay, let's see this document. So we will search the CRM template. You can see the title of the document. And now, when you go to Google Looker Studio, you can find this document. The next step is finding the worksheet that specifically is the table that we want to bring to Google Looker Studio. In this case, it is called deals. And on deals, once we find them, now we can see some options. Some options are use the first row of headers, column headers must be unique, column with empty, etc. I will explain this. I will suggest you that the first row of your Google Sheets is always the name of your dimensions. Otherwise, you will be limited when your data is updated. If you want that your dashboards are automatically changing based on the changes of your Google Sheet, I recommend you do it this way. To do it this way, it means to have a table that is similar to the template that we are providing to you. Once we understand these options, or once we understand that we can use or not the filters, in my case, I wouldn't use the filters because anyways, I can use filters on Google Sheets, on Google Looker Studio, then I can click on Add, and we have created our report and we have connected Google Sheets. It is time to create our first charts. So I will go to Insert, and then I will go to Table, and I will bring a table, but I will change the fields that I am seeing. So as a metric, I want to view value. Value in our Google Sheets represent the money for every contact in our CRM, the money that they are bringing to our business. So I will use this metric, but I will show you on the Google Sheets where to find this. So on our Google Sheets, one column is called contact name, as the table that we have on Google Looker Studio. And we have also a column for value. So here I can see that the same values or the same dimensions and metrics that I'm seeing here, I can exactly display them on the Google Looker Studio report. So on Looker Studio, I have this table and I am breaking down my sales data by contact. Now I will go to Insert and I will create a time series chart and I will paste it right here. And here I can see over time my sales. But look at this. The metric that I'm using is value, which is sales. So I am seeing my sales over time. But there is a metric as well that is called record count. Record count, I actually will remove value and I will explain record count. Record count is the number of rows that your document has. So automatically, by default, Google Looker Studio is counting all the rows and it will create a metric for that. And according to this, we can have 110 rows or counts. And this is a metric for Google Looker Studio. So I will go to our Google Looker Studio report and I will go to insert. And before this table or this time series that we're seeing is showing over time how many deals we are having based on the Google Sheets routes. So once we understand this, we will create another chart. I will go to insert, and on insert, I will go to pie chart, and I will paste this pie chart here. Now here, I can break down my data by date, but instead I would like to choose owner. So owner also is a column that I can find on the Google Sheets. So I will go back and I will paste owner. So now I have a chart, I have a dashboard where I can break down my CRM data by owner, so I can see what salesperson is performing the best. I can see my contacts, and I also can see what contact is bringing more value or more money to our business. And also I can see over time how many deals we have. Now, what else I can do? I can change the size of this time series because I want to add more charts to this dashboard. So I will make it smaller, and I will go to insert, and on insert, I will choose column chart or bar chart, and I will paste the bar chart right here. Here, I want to change the dimension. Instead of date, I want to do opportunity stage. And with opportunity stage, I can see in what step of the funnel are all my deals. By default, the metric is record count, but you can use something else like value. So we change. I have opportunity stage here. But what I'm doing here is not changing the metric or the dimension. I am changing the sorting of our table. So if you go here, you can see that we are on sort, and this table is sorting by record count, which means that it will show always the stage that has more deals. I don't want to do this because I want to visualize my funnel. So I want to organize by stage. So instead of record count, I will choose opportunity stage, and now we are sorting our data by stage, but I will make it ascending. So I can see this over time, and actually it is descending. So I have the fifth stage, then the fourth, the three, and the third, and so on. Now I am displaying my deals by stage, so I can see in what stage most of my deals are. Now, what else is missing here? What I will do is I can click in one or any of these bars, and on one of these bars, you can see that all my metrics and all my charts are changing as well. So when you create by default a chart on Google Looker Studio, is also a filter, and this is called cross filtering. But we have another class for that, another lesson for that. I will remove this filter. I wanted just to show you this feature, and now I will change the order to ascending. So I have my stages of my deals correctly set up. So I have first leads, then qualified, then follow-ups, proposal, and negotiation. As you can see, I needed to add the numbers to this field so Google Sheets could understand the order of these values of the dimension opportunity stage. Now I will use the metric again. Instead of record count, I will use value so I can see my sales potential per stage from my CRM data. Now, I will go to my table and I want to replicate the Google Sheet I have because Google Sheets is a table, and now I have a table as well here. So I will choose the table and I will bring other dimensions like the company name, the contact name, and the phone number. Now I have a table that displays the data as I am displaying it on a Google Sheet as well. So you can see all your contacts data in a single table, and this table exactly matches your data from Google Sheets. Now, I will go to add a page because I want to show you a different chart. So on add a page, I will go to click on add a chart, and I will choose map. And if I paste the map here, let's take a look. It breaks. And it is breaking because Google Looker Studio doesn't understand what city is. We have a dimension that is called city, but city is a text. I need to explain Google Looker Studio what kind of data we are retrieving from our Google Sheets. So I will fix this. I will go to resource, I will go to manage data sources, and I will go to edit. In this step, we will explain Google Looker Studio, our data on Google Sheets. For instance, this is the default selection from Google Looker Studio. For Google Looker Studio, value was a number, but a more accurate way to tag our metric is a currency. So I can choose the type of field that I am visualizing, and instead of number, I can choose currency, and I can choose US dollar. Now, the field value is a currency that represents US dollars. Now, the next field is city. City is actually a text, but it is more accurate if I make it a city as a value. So we use geographical data. So I will click on text and I will change the data type as geographic and as city. And I will continue, I will accept this, and now I will see what next, what other dimensions I can change. Company name is a text, contact email is a text, contact name is a text. Date created by default, Google Looker Studio interpreted it correctly, and it is a date. Opportunity last modified is a date as well, so everything is going well here. And phone number is a number, but you will never do any mathematical formula with it. You won't multiply this, so it is actually a text. You will take it as a text. And now here, what we did is that we explain Google Looker Studio our data on Google Sheets. Now I will click on done, and we will be done. I will click on close. I will remove this original map, and I will create it again. So I will click on insert, then I will click on bubble map, and on bubble map, I will paste my new map here. And here now identified, Google Looker Studio identified the dimension city correctly as a city. It is time to make this bubble or this map more useful. So for the size of the bubbles, I will use record count. Now, if you want to go to Google Sheets to compare the data, there is a column that represents city. And as you can see Denver, Rio, Tokyo. And if you have seen Money Heist, you know what I am talking about. And here, now I have a map where I can display my data. And with this, you can see that you can visualize any data from Google Sheets and Looker Studio, but I will add something else. What about if we make our report interactive and we have a lesson about filters and controls on Google Looker Studio? But today, I will give you a snapshot of this. So here, I will go to Add a Control, and on Add a Control, go to Drop-Down List. And now I can choose a drop-down in the report. Let's see what I can do with this. The dimension that I will use won't be city, but opportunity status. So I want to see if my deals are won, lost, or pending. I will choose it. I will go to a view mode of my report. And now I can filter my data by status. For instance, I want to see only the won deals I have. And now I will show this again. And now this will break down my data and will only show my deals that we have won, the actual money that we have in our business, and in what locations these deals come from. And with this, you know already how to connect your data to Google Looker Studio so you can automate your reports for any data. And if you want to access this Google Sheet template, you can go through this tour, or you can access the link below in the description of this video. I will see you in the next lesson. This lesson is about creating charts on Google Looker Studio and how to analyze data with them. In this lesson, I will show you how to analyze data and how to use specific charts and when. So I will create a new Google Looker Studio report, and I will connect a data source. The most common one I will say is Google Analytics. So I will connect Google Analytics data. You already know how to connect your data. If not, you can go to the specific tutorial on connecting your data on Google Looker Studio. So here, I will add a new chart. And the most common type of chart that we will use is scorecards. I will say a scorecard is the basic one, which is simply displaying a metric. So I will paste the scorecard here, and now I can change the number I want to visualize or the metric. So instead of views, I will do sessions, and now we are done with the scorecards. Whenever or always that you create a report, most of the times you will start with a scorecard, because the first thing I want to know is the what. And this is the best way to describe what is happening. All the other charts, like pie charts, bar charts, time series, describe the how or maybe the why. That's why this is the most general one that you will use. So here I will add a new one, which is a table, and I will drop it right here. And what makes tables special is that I will say they are the most useful way to visualize your data and the most generic one, because you can add as many dimensions and metrics as you like. With time series, you can only choose a handful of metrics. With tables, you can use all your metrics. And to me, tables are the best way to say multiple stories. It's not the most visual way to do it, but I will say it is the most complete. That's why many users still use Google Sheets to visualize or to analyze their data, because it is simply useful. It simply works. So here, I have a table. Now I will do some changes. Instead of event name, I will display, for instance, the full page URL. And now I am breaking down my traffic by page URL. So here I can know what pages are the most important ones or the ones that bring more traffic to my website. I will create a new type of chart. So I will go to add a chart, and now I will do time series. What I love about time series, after scorecards and tables, I will say this is the most common one, because it is very common that we want to see data over time. So I want to see my data and break it down by date, or I can change by week,
or by month or whatever I want. So I will click here on dimension, and instead of date, I will choose week. And now you see that you can break down your data over time. I think that time series are very helpful to see the evolution over time, to find patterns, to find trends, especially in marketing. If you want to see if you are growing or not, if the campaigns that you're doing are working, I think that time series are the best way to spot those insights. That's why, to me, in general, all the marketing reports can miss anything but scorecards, tables, and time series. To me, these are the most important visualizations that you can create. Now I will go with bar charts. And bar charts are another way to break down your data. If you ask me, bar charts are like tables, but to display less data more visually. So for instance, I will use bar charts like gender to break down my data, and now I can see my traffic by gender. But I wouldn't say this is the best use case for bar charts. To me, bar charts are great when I want to display ordinal data versus cardinal data. Oh my God, what is that? That was so nerdy. Ordinal data, I don't know actually if that's the name in English, by the way, this is the translation in Spanish, but it's data that has an order. For instance, the days of the week have an order, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. But gender doesn't have an order. You can display it however you want. The source of acquisition of your traffic doesn't have an order. Google doesn't come after Facebook, for instance, but age groups, age groups or days of week have an order. That's why bar charts to me are better for data whose values have an order that you can use to break down your data. Very similar to bar charts is pie charts. And to be honest, pie charts are one of the worst ways to visualize your data because you will lack a lot of context. You won't see, for instance, if the data is evolving over time. Even though they look very good, I will accept it. You will look very smart if you use them. I wouldn't say they are the best one. However, to me, they have the same use case as bar charts, but the data might be cardinal without an order. So in this chart, instead of gender, I could use source, so I can display and can break down my data, and I can see what source is bringing more traffic to my website, and it looks great. So to me, these are the most common ones. Let's see other types of charts on Google Looker Studio. So I'll go to add a new page. I want to add more charts, but not in this page. So add a page, and now I will go to add a chart. And the next chart is a map. I think this is very useful, and of course it is for geographical data. I will paste it right here. Google Looker Studio offers different types of charts, one that is a graphical, more simple way, and also you can embed a Google Maps. This is actually a Google Maps. And as you can see, I can only display geographical data. So if your data, you have cities, regions, zip codes with specific locations, this will work and you can display geographical data here. What data I can visualize? The dimensions or every point is a specific value, a specific city, for instance, or a specific country. But you can add multiple metrics in a single map because I can change the size of the bubbles and the colors of the bubbles. So actually you can add multiple metrics and visualize multiple metrics with maps. So here, this is an example of a map, and you can see, for instance, that this is actual data from Power Metrics. I can see that we have traffic everywhere in the world. That's fantastic. Except for Russia, but for obvious reasons. Now, I will use a new type of chart that is called a double axis chart. So I will paste it right here. And a double axis chart is very similar to a bar chart, but I can combine multiple metrics or dimensions. So here, I will add the dimension category, device category. So I want to break down my traffic data by device. So I want to see what brings more traffic to my website. Of course, it's desktop. So I want to visualize desktop, mobile, and if someone ever uses a smart TV to use Google Looker Studio. That doesn't happen. And I can use two metrics. That's why it is called double axis chart, because I can find correlations between metrics. So this correlation is obvious. The more sessions I have, the more conversions I have. But I could create some metrics that don't have a relation, and that to me will be insightful. For instance, hey, the more sessions I have on a website, on a specific page, or on a specific device, the less time per session I have. That correlation doesn't exist, but this is an example. The more something happens, the less something happens. But in this case with sessions and conversions, I don't think I will find this this example. What is interesting, at least I know that my traffic is relevant because the more sessions I have, also the more conversions I have as well. Maybe there is an obvious relation there. Now, I will go to add a chart and I will go with an area chart. And to me, this one is beautiful because this one combines the context of breaking down your data with bar charts or pie charts, and also a context of over time with dates. So it is the combination of a time series and a pie chart. And I will show you an example of this thing. So I will use session source to analyze the data. With this chart, I can see over time how my traffic is evolving. So I know that my traffic is steady every week. That on weekends we don't have traffic, and Google is the most important traffic source for our website. But something important is that there is a purple area there, and that's LinkedIn. So it says that on April, we used to have a lot of traffic on LinkedIn, and now we don't have it. And this makes sense because in the latest days, I haven't published on LinkedIn. So this is useful because I can see more context over time. Over time, I'm breaking down my data by a specific dimension. Now, let's see another example. Actually, I will show you. I actually added the analysis here. We can see that, for instance, LinkedIn used to be more representative on April. I will create a new page, and I will show you one of the least common charts that you will use, but that will make you look very smart, which is the scatter plot. And to me, it is actually very, very useful, not for general dashboards, but for data analysis. So I will use a scatter plot. And a scatter plot let us compare and find relations between 2 or 3 metrics. So here I will drop a screenshot, and every point will be the value of a dimension. So in this case, I will do it with page URL. I want to see all the pages of my website in this chart. And the metrics that I will correlate are sessions, one, and sessions per user. So here I have. This is a misconception of scatter plots. People think that they are only for finding correlations. And I don't think there is any correlation between sessions per user and sessions. The more sessions I have, the less sessions per user I have. It doesn't make sense. The other use case for me is finding patterns and finding clusters, finding where most of the pages are and where there are outliers. And this is an example. For instance, I can quickly notice that most of our website pages have less than 1,000 visits. And most of our website pages have on average 1 visit per session. But we have some outliers. For instance, this page is the most popular one. It has a lot of traffic, but only 1 visit per session. And it is our app, our homepage of the app. It makes sense. And also I have this outlier that is very valuable because this page has a lot of traffic and people on average visit it twice per session. So this page is very important. With this, I can find insights to find my most valuable pages on the website by traffic and also by engagement. Now, this is an example. For instance, this is also one of the pages of our app. So I can see that our users are more intensively using this page. And if I want to do some change, maybe I should start here. Or if I want to add a pop-up to be more visible, maybe I need to add something here because people stay longer or they visit more this page and many visits come to this page as well. This is a very good insight. Actually, we have another tutorial on how to analyze your social media performance. And we use scatter plots to find our best performing posts by comparing engagements and impressions, because sometimes social media posts have a lot of engagements but not that many impressions, or they have a lot of visibility but people don't engage with these posts. So if I compare both, I can see what are the best performing posts, and the best performing posts are the ones that are better than the average on both impressions or visibility and engagement. This was another example, by the way. Now I will show you a final type of visualization. So I will go to page, I will go to add a new page, I will go to add a chart, and now I will create a tree map. And tree maps to me are very useful because they allow us as well to break down our data, but into levels or 3 levels or more. And I will explain that concept better. So here, I will break down my data by medium. So mediums are the way to categorize where our traffic comes from. So traffic comes from social media or Google or PPC. So that's the general dimension. But there is also source. And source is included in Medium. For instance, Medium is social media, but source is Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter. They are values within or inside the Medium social media. Or for instance, the Medium is PPC. Okay, the sources or the values of the source for PPC could be Facebook ads, Google ads, and so on. So the good thing about tree maps is that I can include multiple dimensions in cascade that are grouping one dimensions in another dimension. Another example is, hey, I want to break down my data by device, and within device, I want to break down my data by brand. So I can break down by mobile and desktop, and I can break down on mobile by brand. So I have Samsung and I have Apple, for instance. That's why tree maps are very useful. I can break down my data in multiple levels with multiple dimensions. And with this class, I hope that you have understood how a little bit more about how to create charts on Google Looker Studio and how to analyze data with them. Let's see how to create scorecards with sparklines on Google Looker Studio so you can add more context to the metrics that you are visualizing. I will start from scratch by creating a Google Looker Studio report. So I will click here on blank report. In this case, I will choose the Google Analytics connector by Google, and I will connect our website data, our property, add, and we are almost done. Now I will click on insert because I will add a new chart. And in insert, I will choose a scorecard. I will paste it right here in the corner, and I will choose a different metric. Instead of views, I will do it with sessions, and I will add the sparkline. And sparkline, I will show you what it is. It's like a time series or a complement to add context to the chart. So in a sparkline, I will choose by default date. And as you can see, the available dimensions that I have, I relate it with time. So I am supposed to see this data over time like a time series, but smaller. That's why it is called sparkline. So here I have date, and now I am visualizing my same sessions data by date. But this is not my only option, because I can also break down my data by week. So here I am visualizing by week, but I can change the comparison or the context. Instead of comparing my data with dates or with weeks, I can compare it against a progress, against a fixed value, against something else. I will show you what I am talking about. So here in other comparison options, I can choose value, and I can manually put an input like 200,000. So here I can use this to set an objective. For instance, I have an objective for this month to 200K visits or 100K visits, and I can put it here. And instead of a time series, I could use a show as progress. Now I can have more context to my data, because to me, 57,000 sessions say nothing. Now, 57,000 sessions is 57% less than my objective. So I am falling behind for my objective with Google Looker Studio and for traffic. So here, besides manual input, I can do it more dynamically. I can add a metric, and I can compare to a metric. This is particularly useful if you have metrics, so you can record goals, for instance. This is the case for Facebook ads. You can have a budget target, and you can have the actual ad spend. So you can monitor your actual ad spend with Facebook ads. So I will click on add a metric. And in this case, I will do it with event count, for instance, just as an example. And I can compare my sessions against event counts, and I can see that my progress is low. But this is just an example. So here, I will keep with period, and I will show it not as a progress, but as a time series. And I will go to a style because I can customize this a little bit more. The first thing is that for this sparkline, I can change the color. So I will make it this green, and I can fill this so it looks better. I really like it more. And I can make it smooth. Smooth is that I can remove the borders of this thing. And with this, now you know how to create scorecards with sparklines on Google Looker Studio, so your data has more context. See you in the next tutorial. Hey there, let's see how to create heat maps on Google Looker Studio so you can see when your customers are interacting with your clients. And I will show you what I'm talking about, so I will start this tutorial. The first thing is that you will create a Google Looker Studio report, and you will go to Insert. And on Insert, you will go with Pivot Table. Pivot Table is the chart that we will use to create our heat map. So I will click on Pivot Table. The next step is that heat maps are generally big because we need to break down our data by days of week and hours of day, so make sure that you expand your chart. Then The rows that you will use for your data are the hours of day. So here I will choose hour of day. In this case, I am connecting Facebook ads data. You can use any connector. Most connectors have hourly breakdowns. For Facebook ads, it is called hourly stats aggregated by advertiser. And the column dimensions that you will use to break down your data is day of week. So here I will choose day of week, and the metric can be anything that you want to see to visualize concentration. So you can use engagements, clicks, conversions, whatever. So here I will be using clicks for Facebook ads. So I want to see at what time people are interacting the most with my ads. If I were using Google Analytics 4, then sessions will be a better way to do it. Here I will expand this chart a little bit more. And now I have my heat map, but it still misses the heat. So I will show you how to do it. First, we need to sort the data. For the rows for hours, I need to make them descending. So I start from 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. They have an order, and also for day of week. So I will do that. The sorting, instead of the metric, I will do it with the hour of day, and I will make it ascending. So we start from early to night. And also for columns, day of week, it will be ascending to start from Sunday to Thursday, Friday, and so on. So here I have this. I will click on chart and I will make a change. I will make this change the style of this thing. So here, instead of just pivot table, there is an option to add a pivot table, but as a heat map. And here you will be able to see a heat map where we will see concentration. In this exercise, what we are doing is that we can see exactly at what hour of day and what day of week we are having more interactions with our data. So in this case, for instance, we see that on Mondays and Tuesdays from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., let's say, to 10 p.m., people are interacting the most. What you can do with this data? This is something I have done at Porter. When I want to launch webinars or emails and so on, I take in consideration peak hours. So I send content at this time because I know that people are more active during these hours. The other thing is I can reschedule my support team. If I know that my support team, my clients are interacting more with me and they are reaching out to support more often at this time, then I will have more people for support available at this time, and maybe for other time, I don't need them. I don't need to count on them. So these are the kind of ideas that you can do with heat maps on Google Looker Studio. Here is how to make your Google Looker Studio reports interactive. And the first way I will show you to do it is by changing the dates of your report. So you can go to any Looker Studio report. In this case, I am using one with Google Analytics data, and you will see that there is nothing. So I don't know what date I am seeing. By default, as far as I know, Google Looker Studio displays the last 28 days, but I will change this. So I will go to the menu and I will click on an option that says, or that is called Add a Control. And there is an option that is called Date Range Control. I will click there and I will paste this new widget wherever I want. I will paste it right here in the top right corner of my report. So by default, I am seeing the last 28 days, but I will change it. So I will click on the widget, and the new date I will choose is from October 1st to October 19 of 2022, and I will click on apply. And as you can see, I am changing the date of my report. But there is a problem with static dates. Whenever someone opens this report, whatever the date it is, it won't change. It is fixed. It is static. So I will change that. I will make this date dynamic depending on the current date. I will explain. I will go again to a widget, and you will see a word that says fixed. You will click there. You will see it in the top right corner of this window. And now you will see options to make your date dynamic. So you can display the last 7 days, the last 14 days, etc. You can display this month to date, this year to date, whatever. For this exercise, I will do it with this month to date. I will choose this option. And also, I can choose if I want to exclude today's data, or I can include it here in this option, but I will leave it as it is, and I will click on apply. And here, I have a report that will change my data accordingly. So if I am in November, this month is November's, then it will display November's data. This is how it works, but this date range is changing the entire dashboard. What about changing the dates for a particular chart? So I will go to a specific chart and I will show you how to do this exercise, how to change different dates per chart. So on my report, I will go to this scorecard, and in the right side of the panel where you can choose metrics, dimensions, and so on, you will see an option that is called default date range. By default, it displays automatic. Automatic means that it will use the date range of your widget. But I will go with custom. And on custom, instead of this month to date, I will choose this year to date. So this date will respect or will apply only for this chart. For the rest of the chart, for the rest of the dashboard, we will use the one that we are choosing on the widget. And this is how you can change the dates of your Google Looker Studio reports.
Here's how you can add controls to your Google Looker Studio report so your dashboards are interactive. In the past, I showed you how to add dates. This time, I will show you how to add controls or buttons to filter your data. And I will tell you what I mean with this. This is a Google Ads dashboard that is displaying the overall performance of all my campaigns. I can see impressions, clicks, conversions, but I want to see the performance of a specific campaign or a specific ad group or device, etc. So here, I will click on campaign and I will choose only one of the campaigns, and now my data is filtered by this campaign. This is the data only and particularly for that campaign. This way I can add context to the data and see only the things I want to visualize. How to do this? I will create a dropdown and you will see it is super simple. So here I have a Google Looker Studio dashboard that you can take. You can take any dashboard and you will go to add a control, and on add a control you will choose the option dropdown. Anyways, you can explore all the optional lists, but I will use the dropdown because I think it is the most common one. I will use dropdown, I will put it here, and I am breaking down my data by date, but I don't want date. Instead, I want to visualize by source because I want to filter where my traffic comes from. And the second thing is I want to see, hey, my traffic comes from Google, from Direct, from Bing, and so on. But I want to sort this data better. So in metric, I can use a metric to sort the data. For instance, I want to see what source is bringing the most conversions. So I will use this metric for conversions. And now I have sorted the values of this dimension by conversions. What does this mean? It means that the dimension is source. The values of the dimension is, okay, the sources are direct, organic, email, social. And I want to display the order by most conversions. That's the query I just created. And I have a button that I can use to change. So with this button, what I can do, what a user can do is, hey, I want to filter my data only by organic traffic. And boom, all the data of this report is only filtering organic traffic. And this is how you can break down your data with filters and controls. See you in the next lesson about filters and controls. In this lesson, I will show you how to add sliders to your Google Looker Studio report so we can see an additional way to use filters and controls to make your reports interactive. And for sliders, I will do an exercise. I have this Google Looker Studio report where I have already added a dropdown to display the sources and to filter them, and also a search bar. It is time for me to add this slider. So I will create a new page. I will go in the top left page, in the top left section of Google Looker Studio, and I will see an option that says page 1 of 2. I will click there, and an option to display a new page, a new blank page will show up, and I will go to add. I will go to add a page, and now I have a blank page. It is time to connect data. So I will go to resource, manage added data sources. You know this already. And here I will add a new data source. So in this new data source, I will type, for instance, Facebook ads. I will choose other metrics, of course. I will connect my Facebook ads account. Remember, this is something that we saw in our lesson on how to connect your data to Google Looker Studio. I will choose my Facebook ad account. And now I have a table. You can use whatever connector. The idea is that you have a table with a metric so you can create a slider and you understand how it works. So here I have a table where I display my CTR broken down by date. I want to see the CTR that I have every day. So here, now to add the slider, I will go to add a control, and on add a control, I will go to a slider, and I will put it right here. It is not working. Why? Because the values that I need to use for this are metrics, not dimensions. And this one, this hour, is a dimension. So instead of hour, I will use CTR. Now I can display the CTR. The next step is going to style because I want to change the range I want to visualize. So I want to change the range from 0 to 1%, for instance. and I will click on view. Now, viewers can interact with this slider. For instance, I want to only see the dates whose CTR belong to a range that I define. So here, I will change the CTR. I only want to display from 0.28 to 0.64%. And now I am filtering the data, and now I am only visualizing the dates that respect this date range. And this is how you can use sliders on your Google Looker Studio reports to filter not your dimensions, but your metrics.
Here's how to add search bars on Google Looker Studio reports. You can go to any Google Looker Studio report. In this case, I am using one with Google Analytics data. And on the menu, you will find an option that is called Add a Control. In the third option, you will see one that is called Input Box. That's the same thing as a search bar. So I will use that widget and I will paste it wherever I want in this report. By default, it is using date for the filter, but this is not what I want. So I will click on this new widget, and for the control field, instead of date, I will search for page title. Now my filter works with page title. So let's do an example. I will type something like Google and I will enter. And it removed all the data. So what is happening here? This is saying if the page title is equal to Google, then show me the data. But there is no page that is exactly called like Google. So I will make this rule less restrictive. I will go to style and I will change the condition. Instead of equals, I will do it with contains. You can do it also with the stars, with a regular expression, but I will do it with contains. I think it is the most common one. So with contains, now I can try it again. I will type Google, and now it will filter my traffic only with the pages whose page title contains the word Google. And here is how you can create a search bar on Google Looker Studio.
Now we will learn how to use optional metrics. Optional metrics are another way to make your Google Looker Studio reports interactive, and you will love it. I will tell you why. It is very common that you want to visualize multiple metrics in a single dashboard, and this is an example of my Google Analytics data. I want to visualize views, sessions, conversions, and so on. But I have the same chart type for different metrics. What about if I have a single chart for these four metrics? I will tell you what I am talking about. So I will add a new page and I will go to insert or to add a chart, and I will add a time series. Here in the time series, I already have a time series that I am breaking down my data, my date, and views. So I am visualizing my views, but I want to visualize my conversions, remember. So I will turn on the option that says optional metrics that is underneath my metrics. And here in optional metrics, I will add the other metrics. So I will add sessions, total users, and events. I will go to a view mode and I will show you how this works. Here, nothing is happening, nothing is special. But if I hover over this chart, an icon will show up in the top right corner of this chart. And if I click there, you see that I can choose the metrics that I want to display. So instead of views, I want to visualize sessions. I will remove views and I will keep sessions. And as you can see, I can visualize multiple metrics in a single chart. So your charts or your dashboards are not that cluttered. Now, there is something. It is not obvious for users to hover on the charts. So I will show you how to change and to solve that. I will go back to edit. I will go back to this chart and I will go back to style. And on style, I will go to an option that says chart header. By default, your headers are hidden. They only show when you hover over a specific chart. So I will change it and I will put always show. And with always show, your users always will see this icon where they can change their metric. And with this, you can add optional metrics so you have a single chart for multiple metrics and to make your reports interactive on Google Looker Studio. I will see you in the next lesson. Another option to make your Google Looker Studio reports interactive is with drill downs, and they are very similar to optional metrics. I will tell you why. We have this chart that already has optional metrics, and if you haven't seen that lesson, I encourage you to do it. It is part of our Google Looker Studio tutorial. But what I want to do is this thing. Let's say I want to add a date range and I want to visualize my traffic data over a period of a year. So I will change this year to date. I will put this year to date, and boom, I am seeing my traffic over the entire year, date by date. The problem is that using dates sometimes is very hard to analyze. So I want to break down my data by week, by month, by year, and so on. But I don't want to create different dimensions or different charts for this. So I will click on this chart and I will select and turn on the option that says drill down. It works the same as optional metrics. And with drill down, automatically it will allow you to select or year or month or date in the same chart. And actually, if you want to choose week or day of week, you can do it as well. So here I will add a new field and I will display day of week, for instance. Now I will go to view to show you how this works. Here I added week, and now I have two options. Because I added an optional metric in the past, I see the icon, but also I am seeing arrows so I can change the date type. For instance, if I click here, I am seeing date, but if I click again, I will see that I am breaking down my data by day of week, and I can see that most of my traffic comes on Mondays. I also can see that my traffic has been increasing, and I haven't noticed that with my date, but when I see this by month, I see that I had a spike in October. Also, I want to break down this thing by date or by week. For instance, in SEO, you don't want to visualize your data by date because SEO is a more long-term thing. So I encourage you to visualize your SEO data, for instance, per week, so you can see the trends and changes on searches. I will show you another useful way to create filters on your Google Looker Studio reports, and I will do it with this chart. It turns out that I want to convert that pie chart into a filter. So I will go to edit, I will click on that pie chart, and if I scroll down to the bottom of the panel where I can change the dimensions and metrics and so on, you will see an option that says cross filtering, and I will enable it. Once I enable it, I will go to the view mode and I will click on the pie chart, particularly on the mobile section. And here, as you can see, I am filtering my data to only show mobile. This is the same as a dropdown, but what I am doing is that I can convert every visualization, every chart that I have in my report as a button, as a filter. I will do it with another example. I will go back. So here, as you can see, if I hover on the table, on the chart, you will see an arrow so I can move back or I can reset this filter. And this is back to normal. Now, what I am doing is I will click on the table only on the pricing page. And now this is filtering my traffic only for the pricing page. And as you can see, I found an insight. I see that the traffic of my pricing page is dropping steadily, even going down to zero. I don't think it is a problem of sales, it is a problem of measurement. But thanks to this filter, thanks to this cross filtering in my charts, I could spot this thing. I will show you one of the most underrated features on Google Looker Studio, which is parameters. And parameters allow you to put your own data on your Google Looker Studio reports. And I will show you one of the use cases. For instance, if you're an international marketer and you have different Facebook ad or Google Ads accounts with different currencies, you will have this issue. Some of your ad accounts are in dollars, in euros, in Colombian pesos, and so on. I will show you how you can normalize it, how you can use the same currency conversion just by changing the currency. So I have this report where I am showing ad spend in Colombian pesos, just as an example. And in the left table, I want to turn that ad spend into US dollars. How I will do it? I could do it with a formula, but if I want to do it massively in a bulk for all my charts, then it is not working the same. I will show you what I will do. I will go to this chart and I will see that it has amount spent, and I will change the name of this field from amount spent to Colombian pesos. So I want to see dollars in one end and Colombian pesos in the other end. Then I will go to resource and I will go to manage added data sources. I will click there and I will go to edit my data source because I can edit data source. For instance, here I can create my own fields, and once I create them here, they will show always in the reports. You don't need to create every formula one by one. Anyways, here, I will go to add a parameter. You will see how we will use this option. And the new parameter name is a new field. It's a new dimension or metric that I will create with this data source. And the parameter, I will call it currency conversion. And the type of field is a number. So it will be a whole number. And finally, the default value of this currency will be 5,000. I will say that a single US dollar is 5,000 pesos, Colombian pesos, thanks to the Fed and the Colombian government. Now, I will click on done and I will have created my own parameter. What I will do here, I will show you. So I will click here on the US chart, on the US spend chart, and I will do a change. I will create a field, and this field will be called US dollars. And what is the formula? The ad spend in pesos divided by the currency conversion that by default is 5,000. So I will do this change. And now I am seeing my ad spend in dollars. But what about if one day I want to make that the currency conversion is not 5,000 but 4,000? I will show you what I will do. I will go to add a control. I will go to input box, and the field that I will use as input is the parameter. As you see, there is a purple new field that I am creating. So I will put conversion, and by default is showing 5,000. So you can simulate different scenarios with parameters. I can input the data so my chart change. What about if I change to 4,500 pesos? Now the value will change, as you can see. And as you can see, if I change to 3,000, now the value is changing as well. So if you want to do this, to have different conversion scenarios, you can do this change. You can actually input your data to change all dimensions. And what other use cases I have for this? For instance, if I want to calculate the ROI of a campaign or the actual CPA or the agency commission, imagine I can create a parameter that says expected margin, and I can input a different value and I can model different scenarios of return investment or the actual cost per acquisition. Or if I am an agency, I can show the ad spend. I can have a parameter that is called margin. And if I input 10%, then it will increase automatically the 10% of the commission. Something like that. This is how you can create or you can put your own data on your Google Looker Studio reports with parameters.
Here is how to create internal filters on Google Looker Studio, and it is super simple. I will show you three types of filters: chart level, page level, and report level. They work the same, but I will show you how to display them. First, I will create a report on Google Looker Studio from scratch, so go to Google Looker Studio, click on blank report, and choose any data source. For this exercise, I will use my Google Analytics data, so I will choose Google Analytics as the connector, then I will choose my website, Porter Metrics account, my property, add, and I will connect my website data to Google Looker Studio. I have a table that is breaking down my views by event name. I don't care about this one. I will change the query. So I will go to dimension and I will use page URL. I want to display my URLs data, and the metric won't be views, it will be sessions. Now I have a table where I am breaking down my traffic's data by page, so I can see what pages are bringing more traffic, and I will make this table a little bit bigger. Now, I also want to display my traffic data with a scorecard, so I will go to insert, and on insert, I will go to scorecard, and I have my sessions. In general, we have had 55,000 visits in the latest days on Porter Metrics. But there is something. We do marketing in English and in Spanish, especially in English. So, of course, you can tell that my native language is not English, it's Spanish. But I want to do a report only for showing my results in English. I only want to show data for my English pages. I will create a filter for that. So I will go to this scorecard, I will go to sessions, a scorecard filter, and I will go to add a filter. And this filter will be called only English pages. And the filter will be like this: only include URLs, data from URLs that contains, I can use different conditions like equals or regular expressions. I will do it with contains. Contains EN. So the URLs of our website, the subfolders are divided by EN, English pages, and S for Spanish. So for English, we have this rule. If the URL contains this, it means that this page is in English. So I'll click on save. And now I am filtering my data. But here is something important. If I am filtering my data, I am supposed to see less data, not more. I used to have 50,000 sessions, and now I have 77,000 sessions. It doesn't make sense. You want to see about this, and you want to check this or verify this with your Google Analytics data, because it turns out that for sessions, events, and users, Google Analytics can become a little bit crazy. I will explain this in another tutorial about Google Analytics 4. But for this exercise, just stay with this. The filter is working correctly. I am displaying data only for sessions that are happening in pages in English. Now, this specific filter is only working for this chart. I want to make it work for the entire page. So I will go to page level filters. And on page level filters, I will go to page in the menu, and in the fourth option, you will see current page settings. I can change the settings of this page. So go to page settings, go to filter, and now I can add this filter to this page, to the entire page. So the table and the scorecard will have this filter. But what about if I want a filter for the entire report? I can do that as well. Go to report level filters. Go to file, and on file, go to report settings, and on settings, you can scroll down and you will see the option report filter, and it will do the same. It won't only apply the filter for the chart or for the page, but for the entire reports, for the entire charts in this report. And this is how you can filter your data on Google Looker Studio. Here's how to create your own formulas and metrics on Google Looker Studio, and you will see that it is as simple as doing it on Google Sheets. And I will start with some examples for marketers. Maybe you want to calculate your own conversion rates, cost per acquisition, or engagement rates. Even though connectors already bring by default these important metrics, maybe you want to change them. Maybe for you, they have a different definition, and I will show you an example of that. If I ask you, how do you calculate your conversion rate for your business? What will you say? Conversions divided by users or conversions divided by sessions? Here's my take on this. Users are people, are unique individuals. Conversions are events, and sessions are events. So if I compare apples to apples, I will do conversions divided by sessions. But there is an exception for this. If I were doing analysis for B2B businesses, maybe I would calculate the conversion rate by users. But if I did an analysis for e-commerce, maybe I would use sessions. Why? Because in B2B, for instance, in Porter Metrics, we are a provider for Google Looker Studio connectors. So you can automate your marketing reports. Yes, this is advertising. People can only become customers once. They don't have different products. They only have one subscription they can use. So they can only convert once to customers. Even though if they leave or whatever, they can only convert once. So people, in this case, I will do it with users because a user has only the potential to convert once on my website. In e-commerce, it is different. If you go to Amazon today, you can buy a book. If you go tomorrow, you can buy another book and you can buy clothes or an iPhone. In e-commerce, every session has the potential to drive a conversion. In B2B, it is not the case. You only convert once. That's why I will say that for B2B, I will calculate the conversion rate with users. And for B2C or e-commerce, I will calculate the conversion rate with sessions. But here's how to do it. I will go to a Google Looker Studio report and I will click on Add a Chart. And on Add a Chart, I will choose a scorecard. With a scorecard, I will have by default new users, but this is not the metric I want. Instead, I want to use users. Also, I want to bring sessions and goal completions. This is Google Analytics Universal Data, but you can do it with any connector. I will bring the three metrics: users, sessions, and number of conversions. Here I have these metrics, and I will do a calculation. I will drop these sessions down below, and now I will create a field. This is how you can create fields. Instead of choosing a metric in the list, you will go to the option that says create field. And on create field, I can name my new field conversion rate. And the formula will be the conversions, in this case is goal completions, divided by users. And I will click on apply. And the result of this formula will be something like 16%, but I will start, it is giving me 0.17, but it is not a percentage. I will need to change the type of this metric. So below in this table, in this window, you will see that the type is number. So instead of number, I will click on percentage and I will click on apply. Now this is showing me that the conversion rate with users is 16%. Now I will do it with sessions. So I will go again to this metric. I will just copy and paste it. And now the formula, instead of users, will be with sessions. And the result of this formula won't be something like 16%. I think it will be 10%. This is a different conversion rate because I am using sessions for this one. And this is how you can create your formulas on Google Looker Studio. But let's continue with this exercise.
Another simple exercise for custom formulas on Google Looker Studio, which is comparing a goal versus a result. So in this case, I will create a report with Facebook ads and I will create a new chart with a scorecard. And this scorecard will have the amount spent or the ad spent for Facebook ads. And I will create another scorecard with my target ad spend. Let's say I have a budget to spend on my ads. And I will go to create a new field, and this new field will be called target. And the target will be simply the ad spend, the total ad spend, versus or divided by my total ad spend budget. So I am saying that my total ad spend budget is $3 million. We have that much money. And I will click on apply and I will divide it with the total actual ad spend. So here I can see that I have spent around $2 million, which is around the 78% of my actual ad spend budget. But I don't want to see this number. I want to see it as a percentage. So in the type of number, in the type of metric, I will choose instead of number, percent, and that will be it. I will click on apply, and now I can visualize my ideal or expected or total ad spend budget. As for now, we have spent the 77% of our total ad spend. And here is another example of custom formulas on Google Looker Studio. Here is how to calculate the cost per acquisition on Google Looker Studio. And for this exercise, I will be using the Facebook Ads connector, and I will be creating a table that breaks down my data by date. And the metric will be amount spent or the ad spent and a custom conversion. Our connector brings custom conversions. And for this table, I will add a new row that is called the show summary row. So it will summarize the total of every field. So here I have the total ad spent and the total conversions. Now, what I will do is that I will go to add a metric, and instead of choosing a default metric, I will click on create a field. And here I will call this field CPA. And CPA, the cost per acquisition, will be the division of amount spent divided by the custom conversion. I will click on apply, and here you have the cost per acquisition of Facebook ads. But there is another way to calculate this because sometimes this metric doesn't work, and I will explain why. Here, I will create a new field, and for this field, I will go to create field instead of choosing a default metric, and I will be more creative, and I will call this field CPA2. I am that creative. And the formula will be slightly different. I will do it with the formula summatory. I don't know if I am pronouncing it well in English, by the way, but it is sum or whatever. Sum of amount spent divided by sum of custom conversion. And now it is giving me this time the same data, but sometimes it doesn't. I will explain why. Sometimes every day my CPA is $1, let's say. Sometimes what Google Looker Studio does is, okay, $1 this day, $1 this other day, and I have 30 rows. So the total CPA is $30, and it doesn't make sense. It is not aggregating the data correctly. So a way to fix this is using the formula or the aggregation summatory. And this is how you can calculate the cost per acquisition on Google Looker Studio. Here is how to calculate the ROAS or return on ad spend on Google Looker Studio. And for this exercise, I will be using the Google Ads connector by Google. I have a table here where I break down my data by campaign, and the metrics that I am using are the ones that I will be using for calculating the return on ad spend. One is all conversion value that represent the money I am making with my ads, and also the cost that represents the ad spend. But I have a problem with these metrics because remember, the return on ad spend is the division of the total amount of money that you are making divided by your ad spend, and it represents how many dollars are you making for your business for every dollar that you spend on ads. That's the definition of return on ad spend. Now here, I have all conversion value, but there is a problem. There is also a metric that is called total conversions value. So which one is the correct one? Total conversions value or all conversions value? Because as you can see, they are very different values. Okay, I will be bringing both formulas for the ROAS. So Google Ads doesn't bring the formula ROAS. It is not named like that. There is an actual division. So they have the formula total conversion value divided by cost and all conversions value divided by cost. Which one is the correct one? As you can see for the first campaign, the ROAS that one gives me is 119. So for every dollar I spend on ads, I make $119. That's too much. I mean, no business is like this. And the other one is $2. This makes more sense. For every dollar I spend on ads, I am making $2. So I have a potential winner here. And many marketers like me can confuse these values and calculate the ROAS incorrectly. So I will create my own formula to make sure I am doing it correctly. Here, I will go to add a metric, and instead of using one of the formulas that Google Looker Studio or Google Ads has, I will create a new field. And this new field will be the summatory of my total conversions value divided by the total ad spend. I encourage you to calculate your own ROAS so you can prevent these errors. And I will click on apply. And my new ROAS with the name I wanted is actually proving that it is the total conversion value, the one that I need to use for calculating my conversions. So here is how you calculate the return on ad spend on Google Looker Studio. I will show you another example of calculating your own formulas and metrics on Google Looker Studio. And for this, I will answer this question: how often do we publish content on social media? And this is important because if you want to measure your success on social media, you want to use this funnel. By the way, if you want to learn how to measure your social media success, we have a specific tutorial for this, but I will give you a snapshot for this exercise. For measuring your social media success, you want to be more visible, which means having more reach and impressions. You want more engagement, which means you have more likes, shares, and comments on your content, and you want more conversions from your social media efforts. But there is a fourth element that is not displayed in the funnel, which is productivity. The more you publish on social media, the more likely you are to get more results. If you don't believe me, go to LinkedIn and publish every day and you will see results. And if you go to TikTok, publish twice a day and you will see results. The more often you publish, it matters. Quantity matters as much as quality, but this is a personal opinion on this. Anyways, I will show you how to count if you are productive on social media. So I will go to my Google Looker Studio report, I will go to resource, manage add data sources, and I will add a data source, and I will add my Instagram page, but you can do it with whatever, with Facebook, TikTok, or whatever you want. I will go with Instagram Insights, and I will add my Instagram account, this account, and I will click on add. This is something you already know. You already know how to connect your data. If not, you can go back to our lesson on connecting data to Google Looker Studio. For this exercise, I won't use the dimension account name. I will use a dimension that is called post date. And this post date shows me the date when I posted a specific post on social media. That's redundant. Sorry for that. And for metric, I don't have a metric that is called post count. Not always. Maybe our connectors have it because we created it, but not always you will have a metric that shows the post count or number of posts that you have done. So I will need to create it. If I make my dimension post caption, and post caption is the copy of my post, and I make it a metric by dropping it as a metric there, by default, Google Looker Studio will create a function that is called count distinct, and I will show you that. But first, I will transform this table into a time series because I want to see over time how many times I am publishing on social media. Now, I see different post captions every day. I have a post caption on October 7, a post caption on October 18, and so on. This is showing me different post captions because every copy is unique. So here I am seeing every time I am publishing on social media. And if I click on edit the metric on that pencil in the blue icon, you will see that the aggregation of dimensions is that I can count the values of my dimensions. I can count or count distinct. So Google Looker Studio by default is counting the distinct captions or copies I have for my posts. What I'm saying is I am counting my posts on social media. So over time, I am seeing how many posts I am doing. And now I will duplicate this chart. And instead of a time series, I will do it with a scorecard.
And now I can see that during this period, I have posted 5 times on Instagram. And this is how you can calculate how often you are publishing content on social media with Google Looker Studio. Let's see how to clean your Google Analytics for acquisition reports by using regular expressions on Google Looker Studio. And this is one of those tutorials that you didn't know you needed. And I will show you what I'm talking about. This is an actual acquisition report with Google Analytics data where I am breaking down my sessions data by session source. So here it says that some of my sessions, of the sessions of my website, come from facebook.com, which is Facebook. But also, I have traffic coming from m.facebook.com, which is also Facebook. So they are representing something different, even though they are the same site. And another one is FB, which is also Facebook, but with a UTM parameter. So there is something. I am missing some insights because this is showing me separate data sources that in practice, they are the same. This is not the only example with Facebook. This is another example with YouTube. I get traffic from youtube.com, but I also get traffic from YouTube, and they are the same thing. They are YouTube. And for third-party apps, it works the same. We get traffic from Calendly, and we also get traffic from calendly.com. And finally, we have traffic from Google Looker Studio or Data Studio, that is our Google product, and we also get traffic from accounts.google.com, which is also a Google product. It is the same thing, and I would like to clean this data. I would like to group these sources correctly or filter them as well. So I will go to create a new dimension besides session source, and I will create a new field. And here, this new field will be a regular expression. So I will explain the structure of regular expressions. Regular expressions are like metrics, are formulas. Okay, I will explain it like this way. Formulas are to operate numbers, and regular expressions are to operate text. That's a very good explanation. I love it. Now, regular expressions start with conditionals. And with conditionals, we will follow rules. And these rules will help us tag values. I will explain in detail. So I will start with a case function. A case represents, or a case indicates Google Looker Studio, hey, I will start with a conditional. And the conditional starts with when. And then I will use regular expression, which is simply putting regular expression or regex. And I have 3 functions: regex match, replace, and contains. To be honest, 99% of the times you will be using regex match. So I won't explain the other 2. When you become expert in this, you will understand when you need the other ones. Now here, the rule indicates when, if the regular expression applies, when the session source text contains Facebook, then tag it as Facebook. And this is what I have. And I will copy and paste this conditional because the structure is the same, and I will change the rule to another one. Now I will change. If it contains Calendly, then tag it as Calendly. And that's how I can do it. Actually, you don't need to learn regular expressions. You can simply copy and paste this formula. And it will work with many cases, because with this formula, you can group your content, you can tag it, you can filter it, you can do anything. And you may be wondering why the rule is Calendly and not Calendly, because Calendly has a capital C. There is a regular expression to avoid problems with capital letters, but I don't want to add complexity to the first exercise of data blending. So I will start. So I have a rule for Calendly, and if the session source contains Calendly or Calendly, then tag it as Calendly. And just copy and paste this formula and do the same with YouTube. If the source value contains YouTube, then tag it as YouTube. So here, I have another one. I will do it with LinkedIn. So if it contains LinkedIn, tag it as LinkedIn. If it contains Facebook, I am replacing that one. If it contains Google, tag it as Google. And now I will end the conditional. Else is like if not. If nothing of this happens, then do this. If not, continue with the same value that session source is giving, and we will end the conditional with end. So, to explain in natural language, if the session source contains Facebook, tag it as Facebook. If contains Google, tag it as Google. If contains Calendly, tag it as Calendly. So all the variations of this will be grouped as one. The data will be clean. And if nothing of this happens, just keep the same values and end the conditional. It is super simple, and you can request our support team to help you with this if you have any question for free. So here we created a new column with this new dimension because, as I told you, a regular expression is as formulas are for metrics, regular expressions are for text. And we created a new dimension with this, and we will see if this works. So the first column, Google, then it is tagged as Google. Direct, I have no conditional for them, so it remains the same. Not set, it is remain the same because no conditional is this. And now datastudio.com is called Google Product because that's the name of the tag I added. If I go again to Calendly, you will see that Calendly is tagged correctly. If I go to facebook.com, it is tagged just as Facebook, so my new data is clean. What I will do is that I will remove the original session source dimension. And now my data will be cleaned and my acquisition report will be cleaned. Now I am breaking down my data by cleaned sources. Now I can see only Facebook, only LinkedIn, only YouTube, and they are not repeating their values. And you will see that we will find some insights. For instance, I can see that Google products are more representative than I thought, because if I combine all the variations of Google products, then they represent a lot of traffic for my website. And also for Calendly and Facebook, I noticed that Facebook and Calendly are way more representative than I thought, but it was very hard to visualize it because many values split the data and they in the end represent the same thing. So with this is an explanation on how to clean your Google Analytics reports, your acquisition reports with regular expressions. I hope that you like this tutorial, and if you have any question, reach out to us, reach out to me, and I can help you personally for free to create and build your marketing reports on Google Looker Studio. Let's see how to tag, group, or categorize your social media content by topic so you can see what topic resonates the most. And for this, we'll be using Google Looker Studio, regular expressions, and Power Metrics. And here I have a table where I break down HubSpot's social media posts on Instagram. I am seeing their captions, their images, and their performance metrics. And you may be wondering, why do I have access to their data? And the answer is I don't have it. I am using one of our connectors that is called Instagram Public Data that lets you retrieve data from any Instagram or Facebook page. So here I have these pages, and I see that one of their posts is talking about CRM. So I know that one of their topics is HubSpot CRM, and actually they have a hashtag for it. Also, they are publishing about AI, of course, ChatGPT and all this stuff. So this is another content category that they are using. And if I scroll down, I will see other posts. For instance, this is a pattern. Here they are talking as well about CRM. So I can guarantee that this is an actual topic. Here, I will create a categorization. So I will create a new dimension with regular expressions. So click on Add New Dimension and create a new field. And this new field will be called Topic. And we'll create a formula like this. I will explain it. But we will say, hey, if the caption of the post contains the word CRM or the hashtag CRM, then tag it as CRM. If it contains AI, tag it as AI. If not, tag it as something else. This is what we will be doing. So here, I have the formula. When I create a conditional or a regular expression in Google Looker Studio, I will always start with a case statement. Then I will create the condition. And the condition is start with when. So when the regular expression matches that the media caption contains somewhere the word CRM, then tag it as CRM. If not, tag it as other. If you want to add other rules, like to create other categories, you can simply copy and paste that conditional of when and simply change the rules. In this case, I will only create one rule, other and CRM. And I will end the conditional and I will click on apply. And here you can see that we are breaking our data, or we are seeing our data by topic. And now these posts are categorized. So the first post contains CRM, the other one doesn't contain it, the third post contains CRM. And now I will remove the original dimensions, which are media caption and media image, media picture here. And now I am breaking down my social media data by topic. I can see the performance of CRM and I can see the performance of the other categories. Now I can spot what topic is more relevant for my audience. And this is how you can tag, group, and categorize your social media content by topic on Google Looker Studio. Let's see how to create cross-channel reports on Google Looker Studio. And for this exercise, we'll be using regular expressions and data blending. This is an actual exercise from a client, and I really wanted to share it with you. I really loved it. So I created a Google Looker Studio report, and I connected the data that I wanted to blend. I want to connect Facebook ads, Google ads, and Google Analytics conversion data. This first table is connecting Facebook ads, and we are breaking down our metrics, let's say ad spend or impressions or clicks, by campaign name. But something special about these campaign names is that they have a convention or a taxonomy. They have a standard. The structure of the campaign names are product, objective, and year. You don't need to follow the same structure, but you need to follow a structure for these things. And I am repeating the same exercise with Google Ads. I am breaking down my metrics by campaign. By the way, in Spanish, campaign is campaña. And we are following the same exercise and also the same structure. So we have the same structure for the campaign names for both Google Ads and Facebook Ads, but they are not the same. They are not the same names. So no Facebook ad campaign name matches or is the same as any of these Google Ads campaign names. This is important. Now, the next exercise is that I blended this data, and I will show you what makes this join special. If I see this table, I see campaign data, I see campaign name, which corresponds to Google Ads, the campaign name that has a column with 0, that's Facebook ads. So this means that this campaign exists on Google Ads, but not on Facebook ads. And that's why I have ad spend on Google Ads and not on Facebook ads. But the opposite is the same. I have campaign names for Facebook ads, but they don't exist on Google Ads. That's why I have ad spend on Facebook ads and not on Google Ads. So I see that I have campaigns from both platforms, but none of the words of the names of the campaigns are matching exactly. This is another example, campaign name. So I have Facebook ads data, no ad spend on Google reported, but on Facebook I have reported data. And again, I have some campaigns with Google ads, but no data for Facebook ads. I will show you how this join was built, and I will try to explain myself the best I can. So here I will click on edit to see the data source. I will expand this model so I can see the entire join, and I will click on the condition for the join in the Venn diagram, and I want to see what I did here. We built a full outer join. A full outer join combines all the data from the platforms without restrictions. And I will show you what is the difference. Generally, when we do data blending, we do left outer join. And here we say our data table, our blended data table, will only include campaigns from Facebook and will merge with the ones that Google Ads has in common. So if Facebook Ads has them, we will show them. If Google Ads has them, but Facebook Ads doesn't have them, we won't show them. The Google Ads data should match Facebook ads, so the table shows that specific data. If you're not familiar with this, I recommend you our other lessons on data blending, but this is super simple actually. So the full outer combines everything, all the campaigns, regardless if they are the same or not. Imagine if you are a visual learner, imagine that we put a table on top of the other, and that's the data blending, and that's why the table looks like I just showed you. So I will click on cancel because I don't need to do anything here. Click on close, and let's see what is next. Next is the cross-channel report that is beautiful because we are having a table that combines Google Ads, Facebook Ads, and Google Analytics data, where I can see the total ad spend from both ad platforms and the conversion from Google Analytics. This is beautiful. And interestingly, the data is broken down by campaign, but these campaigns are also run on Facebook Ads and Google Ads. So we are combining the data from both Google and Facebook, and we are breaking down the data by general campaigns. This is common in companies. So this customer specifically, they were breaking down by campaign, but you could break down your efforts by product, by owner, by country, by location across all your marketing channels. That's why I find this very beautiful. I will show you how this join was made. But also something interesting is besides combining Facebook ads and Google ads, we are also combining the Google Analytics for metrics and conversion data. Because what we are doing here is that we use conversion data from Google Analytics, but the ad spend from Google ads and Facebook ads. That will make our measurement of conversions more accurate. So how this was built, I will go to edit and I will see the join. This join, I will expand this again. This join works like this. So for Google Ads and Facebook ads, as I showed you, I used a full outer join. This is something that you already know, and the full outer is combining the campaign names, campaign or campaña from Google Ads, a campaign name for Facebook Ads, and we are also bringing dates. day or dia by Google Ads and date for Facebook Ads. We are using both so we can actually display our data over time, and we can create as well time series. So I could actually have two join keys. Now I will go back, and here I am explaining all of this. Using dates as joins as well will enable to create time series and charts and visualize data over time. I will click on cancel because I wanted just to show you how it's done. And now I will show you the join we created for Google Analytics. So for Google Analytics, it is a bit different because we actually did a left outer join. The Google Analytics data will only show if the campaign exists on Facebook Ads or on Google Ads. So what this means? This means that we will only report in this blended data table conversions from Google Analytics as soon as the campaign and the source belongs to Google and Facebook. If not, it means that the conversions are organic or are social media or are email, and that's why we can exclude them from this join. That's why the left outer join here works better. And by the way, to make this work perfectly, that to make Google Analytics match with Facebook Ads and Google Ads, we should make sure that the UTM parameters are working correctly. So that's another requirement to make these cross-channel reports work, that your UTMs and your campaign names are structured correctly. So here I will close. I wanted to show you this blended data. I hope that this will give you a lot of ideas to build cross-channel reports. And I will continue. So the next thing is breaking down our data by a custom dimension that I am coming up with. Like I want to break down my data by funnel stage or by product or by campaign or by location or by owner or by agency name, whatever. I can do anything. So I will show you the formula. So this client is breaking down their data by campaign. And the rule works like this. I will explain it. Remember, if you are not familiar with regular expressions, I recommend you the other classes. But these regular expressions go like this. I will create a single formula or a specific conditional for every campaign that I'm running. So for every campaign, there is a specific conditional. Now, this first conditional says, if the Facebook campaign name contains this word, let's say X, or, so I have two conditionals in a single one, or Google Ads campaign contains X as well, then tag these values as X. And I will show you another example. Actually, I took a screenshot of the rule so you could understand it better. So the explanation of the regex is like this. If the campaign name of Facebook contains X or the Google Ads campaign contains X in the campaign name, then tag them as X. The other rule, if the campaign name of Facebook contains Y and the Google Ads or the Google Ads contains Y, tag them as Y. So we are combining different data sources, different tables, but they have something in common. That's why the standard names are important. And now I can group my data, even though they are in different tables. So with this, I am showing you that I can create a regular expression to break down my data as I want, even though I'm combining multiple sources. And this is how you can create a cross-channel report on Google Looker Studio. And using Google Analytics conversions, using Facebook ads, using Google Ads, but you could explore this exercise with social media and more. As soon as you have UTM parameters, so you have shared data across your data sources, this will be working and this will be beautiful. I hope that you like this lesson. This is an advanced thing on Google Looker Studio, and I hope that you use it. Happy reporting or happy cross-channel reporting. To do data blending on Google Looker Studio, but first, for this lesson, I will tell you why, and I will show you some marketing use cases of why marketers need data blending. One common example, I will say the most popular one, is combining your ads data from Google and Facebook ads because you want to know your total conversions or your total ad spend, your total clicks, CTR, CPM, and so on. Another example is doing the same but with social media. You want to know for your different organic channels your total followers, your total reach, your total impressions and engagements across Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and whatever. The other more advanced example, and I will ask you this, is calculating your cost per acquisition, because even though this metric is super common and everyone talks about it, it is very hard to calculate. And why it is hard to calculate? Because if you go to HubSpot, to Google Analytics, and to Facebook, the conversion data never matches. It is always different. So you need a source of truth, a single data source that you will trust as your reference for your conversions. So what some marketers do is, okay, I want to know my cost per acquisition by knowing my ad spend on Facebook, but combining it with the conversions registered on Google Analytics 4. That's another important use case for data blending on Google Looker Studio. Another example of data blending, and I will say it is the most important one, is asking you this. What is the difference between cross-channel and multi-channel marketing? I will explain it. Multi-channel marketing, this is Google, by the way. Multi-channel marketing is doing marketing in different channels, like multi-channel, right? Super common. So I do marketing on TikTok, on Google, on YouTube, on ChatGPT, on with PR. But those efforts are separate. But cross-channel is doing multiple channels, but with similar efforts, messages, and campaigns. So I will show you some examples of cross-channel, because cross-channel, as you can see, is more complex, is more unified, and reporting cross-channel is more complicated. For instance, this is a multi-channel marketing report because I am reporting multiple channels, but with separate data and separate efforts. I have a Facebook ad campaign, a TikTok campaign, a Google Ads campaign, but they are separate efforts. This is another example of separate efforts with social media. So I want to do reach on LinkedIn, I want to know reach on Facebook, and then reach on Instagram. They are different. They are different channels, but with separate efforts. They are not cohesively united in a single campaign. Now, I will tell you some examples of cross-channel reports that may apply to your business. For instance, your company has multiple brands, so you want to know how your brand is doing across all the platform channels. So you want to know for this specific brand, what is your reach on Facebook, Google, TikTok, Twitter, if you still use Twitter, by the way, and so on. What is your total ad spend, your total clicks, your total conversions for this brand B and this brand C. Another example for cross-channel is if you want to visualize your funnel, because some marketers break down their campaigns by funnel stage. I want to know how I'm performing my awareness campaigns, my consideration and conversion campaigns. But it is common that marketers don't do this only on Facebook. They use Facebook, they use Amazon, and they use Google. So this is another example where you want a single table where you can visualize every step of the funnel, but combining the data of all these data sources. Another example of cross-channel reports is you have multiple products, and this is very common. So you want to know how all your products are doing across all your channels. And if you have you have physical stores or retail stores, you want to know how your marketing is doing across all your stores, but combining all the data of your data sources. And with these examples, by understanding the use cases of data blending for marketing, understanding cross-channel reporting, understanding conversion data from Google Analytics to have a unique source of truth, this is the starting point for data blending on Google Looker Studio. Welcome to this lesson. Let's see how to blend your Facebook ads and Google Ads data on Google Looker Studio so you can create cross-channel PPC reports. And the first thing I will do is that I will go to Google Looker Studio, I will create a new report, and I will connect the data I want to blend. So for this Google Looker Studio report, I want to bring Google Ads and Facebook ads, but I could also bring Bing, TikTok, and so on. The next thing is that the tables should have data in common that I can combine. For metrics, I want to use similar metrics like clicks, ad spend, CTR, and so on. These are familiar and they are shared across every PPC platform. And also, I want to bring by dates because dates are universal. So that's our recommendation to blend your data in general. Always use dates to blend your data. Now, I will select these two tables and I will click on the option that says blend data. And by default, this will generate a new table with blended data, but this data is not correctly. I will drag and drop this new table underneath the original ones because it is overlapping my visualizations. Here, I will edit this blended data source. So I will go to the pencil icon, I will click on it, and I will do some changes. First, I will expand this model and I will go to cross join. I want to change the join type of my data blended. So I will always, or most of the times, I will recommend you to use left outer join instead of cross join and other types of joins. So I will go to left outer join and I will choose a date for Google Ads and a date dimension for Facebook. So for Google Ads, it is called day, or in Spanish is dia. And for Facebook, I will choose date. Now I am matching dates across Google and Facebook ads, and I will click on save. And now I will bring metrics, but first I will change the names of the metrics because I can get confused when creating formulas, because clicks represents Google and the same name applies for Facebook. So for Google, I will call it Google Ads clicks, and for Facebook, I will call it Facebook Ads clicks. But I will bring other metrics to this combination. So besides clicks, I want to bring impressions, and I also want to bring ad spend. So as you can see, I am changing the names of all these metrics, so their convention works and they are easier to understand. So I have for Google Ads clicks, impressions, and ad spend, and I will bring the equivalent metrics for Facebook. So I will bring Facebook clicks, Facebook impressions, and I will bring amount spent that represents the Facebook ad spend. So here I have my data, and I will click on save. I will have a blended data source that combines Google Ads and Facebook Ads, that joins the data by dates, and that will bring from both platforms clicks, impressions, and ad spend. So click on close. And now we have this table that, of course, is breaking. I will change the dimension to a valid one, and the valid one is called day or dia. And I will sort my data not by clicks but by dates, because I want to compare my new table with the original tables. I want to see that the data is matching correctly, and I think it will. So I will expand this table. I will change the dates I want to visualize, and I want to visualize, for instance, May to June, and I will click on apply. And for all the tables, I am displaying a similar date. Now, I have something. Here, I see that some of my data shows or displays null for Facebook clicks. I will change that. So, I will explain you why this is happening. It turns out that Facebook sometimes doesn't run ads. So, for Google Ads on January 1st, I had ads. But for Facebook, for that same date, I didn't run any ads. If on January 5th or 5th, I run ads on Google, but not on Facebook, of course, my data will report zero. But zero is not the same as null. Null is no data at all. So there is something I need to check. Day or dia represents Google dates and not Facebook dates. That's why it is displaying null for some dates. In some dates where I run ads on Google, I didn't run ads on Facebook. So I will bring as well the Google Analytics or the Google Ads clicks as well. So I will drag and drop, and now I have my data for Google Ads. And as you can see in this table, by date, I have actual data from Google Ads. So here I have data from Google Ads, I have data for Facebook Ads, and now I will bring additional fields. Let's bring impressions or ad spend. So I will click on add a metric. I will choose Google Ad Spend. Now I can customize the size of these columns because I will be bringing more metrics, and I will bring as well the Facebook ad spend. So I have this table where I have Google Ads clicks and impressions, Google Ads clicks and ad spend, and Facebook Ads clicks and ad spend. What is the next step once I organize these columns? The next step is that I will create a field that combines this data from Google and Facebook. So I will click on add a field, and I will combine the ad spend from Google and Facebook. So I will create a formula, but I need something. I need to add a function that is called if null. I will explain why. If you want to operate 5 plus null, the answer is null. It is not 5 because null is not the same as 0. So to make your data accurate, you need to transform your null values into 0. And that's why we will use the if null function. So how it works? I will create a function that says if null, if the value is null for Facebook ad spend, comma, then turn the null value into a 0. That's the function. That's how it works. It is super simple. And now I will click on apply. And now I have my ad spend of Facebook represented not as null, but as 0. And I will do the same with another metric. So I will create a field, and I will do the same. If null, Facebook clicks, I will turn it into 0. So if null values are here, then I will switch them to 0 and apply. Now my data doesn't have null values, so I can operate the data and I can blend my data across these data sources. Now I will create a new field, and this field will be called total ad spend, for instance. And the total ad spend is the summatory of Google Ads ad spend plus the summatory of Facebook Ads ad spend. I always recommend you to use the aggregation summatory to make your data always match. You will see why while you don't use it. When you don't use it, you will see that your data won't match. So my recommendation is to use it always. So here, the combination is summatory of Google Ads plus summatory of Facebook Ads. Now I can click on Apply. On Apply, I can close this window, and now I have a data that a column that is displaying the total combination of my ads. But there is a problem. Some of my values still return zero or still return null. So my data is not correct. What I need to do is that I need to also bring the if null function to this formula. So I will go back to the formula, and in the summatory, within the summatory, I will apply the if null formula, and that's it. And with this, now we have calculated the total ad spent from Google and Facebook for a specific date automatically. Let's do something else. What about if we calculate the CPC or CPM or something else? Well, let's do something. So I will go and I will create a new field. And this new field, I will call it total clicks. And the total clicks, the formula works the same. It is just the summatory of Google Ads clicks plus the summatory of Facebook Ads clicks, and apply. And again, I need to change or fix the null values. So I will go back to the formula and I will do the if null function for Facebook to replace the null with zero values. So here I have apply, and we are almost done. What else is missing? What about if I calculate my CPC? So create a new field, total CPC, and the formula is different because I need to divide ad spend by clicks, but I need to combine Google and Facebook ad spend divided by Google and Facebook clicks. So the formula is summatory of Google ads plus summatory of the null values turned to zero Facebook divided by the respective clicks. Click on apply. And now we have calculated the total cost per click for Google Ads and Facebook Ads. And this is how you can blend your data on Google Looker Studio to create PPC cross-channel reports. Let's see you in a new tutorial. Let's see how to blend your Facebook and Instagram social media data on Google Looker Studio so you can create cross-channel social media reports. So I will start with this tutorial. And the first thing is that you will connect your social media data on a Google Looker Studio report. In this case, I'm connecting Instagram and Facebook data, but you can also bring Twitter, TikTok, and so on. The next thing that you want to make sure is to use the correct metrics. You want to display metrics that are shared across the social media tools, like shares, engagements, followers, and impressions. These metrics are shared on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and every social media platform. And also, as we are combining metrics, we will combine dimensions. And the recommendation for you is using dates because dates are universal. Dates work on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Google Analytics, and so on. With this clear, now the next step is combining my data. So I will select the tables I want to combine, and I will do a right click. Next, I will go to blend data. And then with this blended data table, I will drag and drop it down underneath the original ones because this data is overlapping the original tables. Now I see my data blended in this table, but there is a problem. This shows that I have 1 million impressions for Facebook and for Instagram, so it doesn't make sense. I will change this data source by clicking on the pencil icon to edit this blended data source. Here on my blended data source, I want to expand this model to better visualize my join. And by default, Google Looker Studio is using a cross join to combine my data. I will change that. So I will go to cross join, and instead of cross join, I will choose a left outer join. I will choose left outer, and now I am required to use join keys. I need to bring the dates from Instagram and Facebook so we can match this data. First, I will start with Instagram. So I will choose profile date, and profile date represents Instagram dates. And in the field that shows missing, now I need to add Facebook. So here for Facebook, the dimension that represents the date for Facebook is called date. And now click on save. And again, click on save and click on close. So our table is already working correctly. And now I have blended my data, but I will pull or I will bring more metrics. So I will go and I will click on add a metric. And on add a metric, I will choose page total impressions that represent Facebook impressions. Here, I will change the sorting of my table because I want to display my data by date, not by impressions. And this will help me because I can visually identify if my original data from my original tables is working as well on the blended data table. So instead of impressions, I will choose profile date. And I will do something else. I know, because I know these data sources, that profile date belong to Instagram, but most people don't. So I will change the name of these fields, of these metrics. So again, I will go to edit this blended data source, and I will change the name of the Instagram metric to Instagram impressions. And for Facebook, I will change it to Facebook impressions, and I will click on save. Now my table is it's easier to read. Now, I have a column for Instagram impressions, a column for Facebook impressions. Now I will create a column that combines impressions from both platforms. So I will go to click on add a metric. Then I will click on create a field. And now I will create this formula. So I will create a formula that combines the total impressions for Facebook and Instagram. To do this, I will aggregate my data by using the sum function. Remember, always when your data is not matching, I recommend you to use this formula. So I will do the summatory of Instagram plus the summatory of Facebook, and I will click on apply. And now we will have a table that will combine impression from both tools. But first, I will expand this table to visualize all the metrics. Here, I already have a table that is blending this data, that is combining, and it is doing everything fine. But I will do something else. The next thing I will do is that I will create a scorecard. So what I will do, or what I did here, is that I will drag and drop the field that I created on the canvas of Google Looker Studio, and it will create a scorecard by default. And I will create a comparison date range. So instead of none, I will choose previous period, and I will go to apply. And now I am comparing my data against last period, and I can see that in total for Facebook and Instagram, I have 11% more impressions. I am more visible. Now I will copy and paste this scorecard, and I will create a time series. So this time series, you only need to go to the top right corner of Google Looker Studio, and I will choose the chart type. And the chart type will be times series chart. Here for time series, I will hide the chart type selector, and now I can change the dimension that says invalid. I will change it for profile date, which is the date that we are using in common for this combination. Now I have a time series, but I will make it bigger. I have a time series that is showing me over time impressions for Facebook and Instagram. I will remove first the comparison from previous period to none, because for time series, they are not as useful. And I will click on apply. And now I have a time series with the total impressions of both platforms. What I will do for the same time series, I want to display separately Facebook and Instagram. So I will go with Instagram impressions, and instead of total impressions, I will do Facebook impressions. And that's it. We have a table that is combining my Instagram and Facebook impressions, a time series that is separating them, and a scorecard that is showing the total visibility of my social media efforts. This is how you can blend your social media data on Google Looker Studio. Let's see how to blend your Facebook ads and GA4 data on Google Looker Studio so you can actually track your real cost per acquisition. And why you can do this? Because it happens that Facebook doesn't show the actual conversions. They always show different conversion data from Google Analytics. So what some marketers do, especially when they know Google Looker Studio and data blending, is that they create charts that combine the ad spend from Facebook, but with the conversion data from Google, and they can combine these metrics to have an actual and more accurate cost per acquisition metric. So I will show you how to do this. The first thing is that, as always, you will create a Google Looker Studio report, and you will connect the data sources that you want to bring to these tables. Generally, I will recommend for this exercise ad platforms like Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads, LinkedIn ads, and so on. So here I am connecting only Facebook, and I am breaking down my data by campaign, and I am bringing any metric. I can bring ad spend, clicks, impressions, and so on. But for this exercise, I will think that the most important metric is ad spend. Also, for Google Analytics, I am bringing the data from Google Ads, because if you have connected Google Ads to GA4, the cost data is already reported here, the UTMs are already reported, the campaigns, and so on. So that's why I am not bringing the original data source of Google Ads here. Also, remember, campaign is a dimension that GA4 has, and campaign automatically reports your UTM parameters. So if you set up your UTM parameters correctly, Facebook campaigns should match the medium source and terms and all the UTM parameters and show the same on GA4. So it is important that you are using UTM parameters correctly, so the data from Facebook matches with the data on Google Analytics. Now, here I will select both tables. If you're familiar with Google Looker Studio and data blending, you will find this process familiar. So I will select both tables. I will do a right click and I will click on blend data. And on blend data, I will generate a blended data table and I will drop it down because it is overlapping my current data. Here, what I will do is I will bring the metric conversions from GA4. And here I will have that the data is not matching with the original data sources. What does this mean? The new table that I created is over-reporting data from the original table. So I know that I need to fix these joins, these blended data. So I will go to edit the data source and I will see how to do the things correctly. As you may know, by default, Google Looker Studio makes a cross join. And most of the times I will recommend you to use a different join, especially a left join, a left outer join. So here I will change the join type and I will choose, instead of cross join, I will do it with inner join. Why I'm doing this? In this case, what I want to do is, hey, I only want to have a table where the campaigns that are showing up are on Facebook and on Google Analytics. When I use left outer join is, okay, I have them on Google Analytics, and if I have them on Facebook, also show them. But I will show everything on Google Analytics. In this case, this one is more restrictive. I will only show values. I will show only campaigns that are in both and not only in one of the data sources. So that's why I am using an inner join, and still I need a join key. I need a dimension that I need to match between these data sources. So for Facebook ads, I need to bring campaign name, and for Google ads, for Google Analytics, I will use campaign. In this case, I change the name of this dimension to GA4 campaign so you can differentiate for the tutorial. But yeah, this is the explanation of these types of joins. So this one is the more restrictive, and the columns or the campaigns that I will display here, they will display because they happen to show in both of the tables. Now here, I will click on save, and I will click on save as well, and close. Now the data is correctly blended. I am bringing only campaigns that both Facebook and GA4 are reporting. And now I have my ad spend and my conversions from GA4, ad spend from Facebook, and conversions from GA4. Now, what I will do is I will create a formula, and this formula will be the following one. It will be CPA, and the CPA will be the summatory of the ad spend divided by the summatory of conversions. And here you can see that if I add a summary row, we'll have our actual cost per acquisition on Facebook ads by using the conversion data reported on GA4. I hope that you like this exercise and you will find it very useful, and that finally you can have a very calculated cost per acquisition for your marketing reports. Here is how to design your Google Looker Studio reports so they look white label with your brand, your colors, your logo, and so on. So I will start and I will go to Google Looker Studio and I will create a new report. I will go to blank report and I will choose any data source. In this case, I will be using Google Analytics because it is the most common one. And here I will choose my account, I will connect my account, and I'll click on add, and we have created a report. Now it is time to add some charts. So here I will go to insert, and on insert, I will say that the most common way to visualize your data is a scorecard. So I will go with the scorecards. And with the scorecards, I will paste it right here. I will change the metric from views. I will do it with sessions. And I will add a sparkline. Remember, we have a lesson on how to create the scorecards and how to use sparklines for scorecards on Google Looker Studio. Here I will do it. I will use date, so I can visualize the same metric as a number and as a time series. And I will change a little bit the style. So I can go to style. Remember, for every chart, you can customize the style. Here in this section with the style, you can customize if you want conditional formatting. We actually have a tutorial for that, how to customize the logos, the colors, the size, and so on. So here I will go to style, and for the sparkline, I will change the color to something green, and I will fill the sparkline, and I will make it smooth. Remember, we have already tutorials dedicated to this, but I will go faster for this design because there are many things to show you. I will expand this scorecard and I will add a border shadow that you can find in the style section. So our visualizations have a chart. And also for this shadow, I will add a border, and the border I can make it rounded because I can have a radius for my for my charts. And here I will click on 10. Generally, I use 10 because I like it the more. I will go to setup, and I will also add a date range comparison. So here, instead of none, I will go with previous period. We'll click on apply, and boom, now we have a chart with comparisons, with a sparkline, with colors, and with a shadow that you will see after I deselect this thing. And I took like 30 seconds. I explained too fast, right? but yeah, generally this is super simple. And remember, you can go through this demo on the description in the video. So here I will copy and I will paste this scorecard, and I will paste it right here. I will change the metric. Instead of sessions, I want total users. And now I will insert a new chart. Generally, I create scorecards along with time series charts. So I will drop a time series chart, and I will go to style, and I will do some changes. For instance, for time series, I could change lines for bars. And for bars, I can change the colors of the bars, and I can make it green. And now I have 3 charts, so I can select them to change the size of them in a bulk. So here I can change the size of them, and now all my charts have a similar size, and they are centered in my report. Now, here, what I can do is, once I remove the selection, now you can see that I have shadows in my chart, so I can differentiate them from the canvas, from the background. Now I will add a header to this report. So I will go, again, I will show you, I will go to the section that shows shapes, and on shapes, I will add a rectangle. And this rectangle, I will drop it right here, and I will expand it to make it a header of my report. I don't like gray, so instead I will use this yellow color, and I will also add a border shadow. Now I have a shadow for this header, and now my report has a header. What about if I add a logo to my report? So I will go to images, I will add an image from my computer, and I will add the logo of Google Analytics, and I will paste it in the top left corner of my Google Looker Studio report. I also want a title, so besides shape, you can go with text, and I can paste the text here, and I will add Google Analytics report, and I can customize that text. So instead of a size of 14, I can make it 24. Now it is bigger. And instead of Roboto as well, I can change it to something else. I can change it to Montserrat, for instance. I just changed the size of the font, by the way, here. And I bolded the text here. Now, I have my report with a header, with a logo, with text. I customize the colors of my charts. As you can see, this is super simple. But let's do something else. I will go to add a control, and on the header, I will add a drop-down because I want to let people customize and filter this data. So I will use a dimension, and the dimension, instead of date, it will be a page URL. So here, with this report, now people can change the URL of the entire data of this Google Analytics report. And now with these filters, users can interact with this dashboard. The next thing I will do is that for the header, I will remove the shadow of these elements so they seem that they belong to the header, and I will add a new control. And the most common control that I will recommend is to add a date range control. Now our header is more complete because now people can change the dates, change the pages, and have a logo and a text for our report. Now our report looks more white label, but I can change more other things. So I will customize, and I will show you a trick to make your designs faster. I will go to this scorecard, and I will customize it. So I will click here, I will go to style, and I will change the color from green to purple. Now, you may be wondering, what about if I have 10 charts? I need to do this change manually for every chart? Yes, unless you do this change. I will copy this chart, and I will do right click. And with right click, there is an option that says paste spatial and paste style only, and boom, this way you can paste the style in all the elements of your reports, and this will make faster the design of your dashboards. Now, what is next? I will go to change the total layout of our report. So in the top right corner of Google Looker Studio, you will see an option that says theme and layout. I will change many things here. So I will click here, and the first thing is that I can change the general colors of my report. So by default, I am seeing this background, but I can change it to this one, or I can change it to this one, or this one, or this one. You get the point, right? I made many slides with these examples. Okay, I will go through this. And now I can show you how to customize particularly every element of this report. So I will go to customize, then I will go to change the background, and for examples, I will make it gray. This is just an example. For the overall report, I could change also the font. So instead of Roboto, I will use Montserrat, and now it looks better. And I can change the colors too. Instead, I will keep still using black. Now, I can make that all the charts have a border shadow, so this makes things easier. And I will remove this thing. Now let's change the layout of my report. And I will show you what I mean with layout. I can change actually the size of this canvas. So I will go to layout. And the first thing is the header. When you are in the view mode, you can display the header of Google Looker Studio. But if you don't understand what I am saying, I will show you with a demo. So I can, by default, I will always show the header of Google Looker Studio, but I also can hide it. So people don't know actually that it is Google Looker Studio, but because you can see the URL. So I will go to view, and this is the header. If I always show the header, but if I go back and I hide the header, instead of always show, I will do initially hidden. I will go to view, and now people can only see it if I hover over this header. Otherwise, they will see something like this. Now, this report looks more white label, more yours. It is not built by a Google product. Now, I will go back to edit. I go to theme and layout, and as you can see, I will do most of the things right here. So I will go back to layout, and I will add more pages to this report because I want to show you how navigation works. So I will add a new page, and I will add a new page as well here. So I have 3 pages. It is super simple to add a page. And here, there is something I want to show you. What about if I want a header for all the pages? Then you need to create it, or you need to paste them, or you can do something smarter. I can select all the elements that I want to keep the same in all the pages. And here I will do a right click, and you can make report level. So all the elements that are report level will show up in the same position, exactly the same for all the pages of my report. So I will go back to the first page, and I will show you more tricks. I will go to themes and layout again. I will go to layout, and now I will change the navigation because people can navigate through my pages. By default, we have the navigation in the left, but I can show also different things. And I will show you these customizations. If you are wondering how to make your reports mobile friendly, if you can visualize them on mobile, actually you can do it, and you can do it with these options. So first, I will remove this option of respect report theme. I will change the display mode from fit to width. The actual size is the current size, but I will make it fit to width. Fit to width is regardless, it doesn't matter what device you are using, the report will always match the size of that screen. And I will remove the margins so I don't have any empty spaces on my reports. Now, with these customizations that took me like 10 seconds, I will go to view. And with view, now you can see that our report occupies all the space on the screen. And if you open this on mobile, you will see the same report fitting on your mobile screen. This is very interesting to make your reports mobile friendly on Google Looker Studio. Now, I will go back to edit, and let's see what I am doing here. I will go to theme and layout, and now I want to show you this. If you want to change the size of your reports, if you want to make them longer, so you can display more charts, if you want to make it wider, or you actually want to make it smaller, so you actually build slides. And this is an idea. Most people think that Google Looker Studio is a tool to creating dashboards, but you can also create slides like Google Slides or PowerPoint. You only need to change the display, add text, and add a chart, and now you have something that is better and easier than Google Slides to create and show your data. But this is just an idea. Maybe in a different tutorial, or if you go to our report templates gallery, you will find report templates that look like slides. Now here I will change the size for this thing, and now my pages are wider and bigger. Now we have more spaces for our charts. But I will go back to view, and as you can see, this is the current result of our current report. In about 5 minutes, 11 minutes actually, that I am taking, I am showing you how to change the colors of the charts, how to change massively all the elements, how to change the size, the background, the colors, the logos, and so on. As you can see, this is super simple, but I will continue with other tricks. So here, I will go to theme and layout again, I will go to layout, and I will show you how to change the navigation style. Instead of left, I will make it tab, and I will go back to view. And this is also how you can see your pages. Personally, I will always prefer the left navigation. This one is also useful if you prefer it. Anyways, I will show you other tips for design. So I will customize the menu, the navigation. So I will go to page 1 of 3. And the first thing I can do for my pages is changing the names of the pages. So instead of untitled, I can change this one to overview, this one to GA4, and this one to social media. Or I can create sections to add more pages per section. So I have a section for social media, a section for PPC, a section for SEO, and so on. This is actually things that our customers do and that we have as well in our templates that are free. Now I will go with section and I will call this section social media. And on this section, now I will change the other page. Instead of social media, I will call it Facebook. And I will drop down or drag and drop my social media pages within this section. So here I will duplicate. Instead of Facebook, I will call it LinkedIn. I will duplicate this one. Instead of LinkedIn, I will call it Twitter. And now I will drag and drop these pages, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, on my social media sections. So here I am dragging and drop down, and I will click again on the icon. And now I will show you a visual thing, a visual effect. If you click on your icons, on your sections or your pages, now you can select icons to display on your report so people can easily understand what these pages are about. So for this section, for social media, I will use a heart icon and I apply. Now I have a visual display of a heart for my social media icon. For the Google Analytics 4, I also will add a section that will be a home and apply. And now I will view. Now you can see that we have a navigation with sections and with icons so people can easily navigate and they can understand better the pages that they are seeing on your reports. I will show you one other trick. Let's say that your reports are not complete. Let's say that you want to hide some of the pages of your reports for viewers, but you want to keep them as an editor. So I will go back to edit. I will go to my pages. I will go to the Twitter page, which is the one that I want to edit, and I can hide it in the view mode. If I go to view, now my Twitter page still exists, but viewers cannot see it. This way I can edit these pages without them noticing that I am changing these pages on Google Looker Studio. Now, what else? I will go to edit, and I will show you how to make changes of the layouts and theme, but for specific pages and not the entire report. Let's say that you have a report and for Google Analytics, and this page should be very long, but the social media page can be very short. How you can customize particularly a specific page? You will go to the menu of Google Looker Studio and you will go to page. And on page, you will go to current page settings to change the settings of the current page. That's obvious. Now, here on style, I can change the size of this particular page. And as you can see, only this page has a different size. And for this page as well, I will also change the background to white. I will go to view, and now you can see that this page is smaller, is white, and the other pages have the default layout and the default theme. Now I will see Google Analytics 4, and now you can see that people can navigate through our reports. And in a matter of 15 minutes, I'll show you how to design your Google Looker Studio reports with very good detail. I will see you in a next lesson on Google Looker Studio. Let's see how to share your Google Looker Studio reports with anyone. And you can do it with email, PDF, by embedding your reports on a website or whatever. So I will show you how this works. The first thing that I will do is I will open any Google Looker Studio report that I want to share, and in the top right corner of all your reports that you have access to as an editor, you will see the option Share, and you will see a drop-down. So you will click on that drop-down, and we will see all our options. So I have invite people, schedule delivery, get report link, download report, whatever. Here you will see most of the options because they are not the only ones. And I will start by inviting people. So I will click on invite people. Then I can add a specific Gmail or Google accounts to have access as editors or viewers to these reports. This is a Google product, so you can expect that the emails that you share here are from Google. Now, what I can do here, I will add support@portermetrics.com, I can add it to the workplace, and I can add them as viewers so they can only see the report, or I can add them as editors so they can actually edit the reports. I will leave them as editors, and I will click on send. And now this is how you can share. This is the most common way to share your reports on Google Looker Studio. Now I will click on settings and I will show you what other options we have. On settings, I have two things. One is that you can prevent users to give access to other users to the report, especially for teams or clients. You can give access to specific clients to watch the reports and to edit the reports, but they are not allowed to add other users to these reports. And the second option, or the second setting, is that you can prevent people to make a copy of your reports. This is common when you have an agency and you want clients to have your report and they cannot create a copy, so they migrate to another agency, or you are selling Google Looker Studio report templates and you want to prevent people to make a copy before they make a purchase. So this is an interesting option. Now, here I have different sharing options. Even though I can share manually to specific emails, I can also have more general rules. For instance, unlisted is that this is not displayed in Google, I guess. I forgot. This is like any permission management from Google products, but I will see the options that I have to share with when I share through a link. So restricted is that only specific people from the list of emails that you have can access the report. That's the most restrictive one. The other one is depending on of the domain of your Gmail account. This is for Google work accounts. So we are parametrics, and with this option, I can share this report only from people from my organization based on their domain, on their Gmail, on their email. Now, the other option is public, which means that anyone can access to this report as a viewer or as an editor. And I can change editor view permission here. And here you will see to copy a link, so you can share this link to give access to users through the ways and rules that I am showing it to you. Now I will click on save. This is the most common way to share your reports on Google Looker Studio, by links and by permissions for emails with specific restrictions for sharing permissions or for sharing templates. Now I will show other options. So I will go again to the option of sharing. And this time I will go to schedule delivery, which I find delightful. This feature is delightful, especially for agencies and teams that are regularly presenting reports to a team or to a client. So here you can add your clients or your viewer email, and you can customize your email subject and message. And here I can add a message and a subject. So for instance, I want to send a weekly Instagram report, and the copy will be, hey, this is your weekly report. And I can choose the specific pages. I can share all the pages on this email, or I can choose specific pages to share on these email reports. What other options I have here? Here I can choose the specific date I want to start sending these reports frequently and the specific time. So a common use case is, hey, I want to share these reports every morning at 8 a.m. to my boss. Or for Porter, we share our growth dashboards for all the team every 9 a.m. every day at 9 a.m. So these are examples of scheduling your reports. Here I am setting the specific dates, and I can set the cadency. Hey, I want to send this daily or weekly or monthly or whatever. And I also can choose filters. I think this is new, and I can filter the data that is displayed on the report that I am delivering through email. So here, for instance, I created an Instagram report for the most popular football players in the world, and here I am excluding Leo Messi, so I will be showing a report only with Mbappe and Cristiano Ronaldo data. This is an example of filtering the data that you are showing in the emails that you are sharing with people. And click on schedule, and this will be done. So every often you will get an email with a PDF, with the link, and with a snapshot of the reports every day on your email. Now, there is another option besides sharing through email. The other option is with report link. So if I go here, this is the most basic one, you will get a link. That's as simple as that. But this is an interesting option. If you enable that checkbox, it will allow to open, when someone clicks on the link, it will open the exact page you are currently at. So it won't start from page 1. It will start from the current page that you are, for instance, the page number 6, something like that. Now, I will copy link, and I will show you another example of sharing your report. So far we have seen giving access to specific emails, sharing for people and sending invitations, sharing through emails and scheduling, and also through links. The next example is via PDF, which is super standard and super popular. So you can click on download report, and you can choose the specific pages that you want to download, or you can get all the pages right away. And if you click in download, you will simply see, or you will simply wait for some seconds and it will generate a PDF on your computer and it will download it. So this is the other option to do it. I won't show the PDF, but that's something that I encourage you to try. Now, what else I have? I will go to edit and I will show you more advanced options. And edit, go to file, and on file there is an option that is called embed report. And if I click here, I can enable embedding and I can copy this embed code on my website, on my app, on whatever. This is common, especially for agencies that have an intranet or a specific workplace for their clients, and their clients need to log in with an account and then they can display this data. This is something that I have seen. Or other software companies that embed Looker Studio reports in their apps. So that's something that you can explore actually. Or people that build websites with embedding. So this is interesting in general. So I have this embed code and you can copy this code. You can actually change the size of the embed report. And now you can click to clipboard. You can copy to clipboard. And this is an example of our website where I can add to my website an HTML, and in this HTML, I can add an embed of this thing. And the final example of sharing your Google Looker Studio reports is I will go back to File, and on File, I will go to Publishing Settings. And on Publishing Settings, this is a final option. You can decide if you want to show live changes. If you are currently changing the report and someone else is viewing the report, by default, they will see the changes in real time. But you can disallow that. You can say, hey, I want to do some changes, but I want that the current viewers can only see the past version of my report. This is special when you share your report and you did something wrong and you don't want people to see that you are fixing things in real time because you didn't work on time. And this will help you to don't let know that people are knowing that you are working on your report. And I will click on share, and this is everything. So here, this is how you can share your reports on Google Looker Studio. So we saw like 5 things: inviting people through emails, email delivery, PDFs, links, embedding reports, and allowing or disallowing seeing live changes of your reports. And with this, you know how to share your reports on Google Looker Studio.